So today, I got the intro. I
Do you know?
I got an intro.
Is it Welcome to Guardian Downcast?
No, I don't even know who those guys are.
You're kind of a big deal.
So I've heard.
Well, I mean, that was before the podcast. I mean, come on, let's be real here. But no, I had a song in my head this morning, and as I was taking my morning bathroom break, it was cycling over and over in my head, over and over again, and again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And it went something to the tune of See, whenever I do it on the spot, it's difficult. Like whenever it just comes out naturally, like I was singing it earlier before David got it, right? And then it was just kind of like flowing, right? But now that I'm on the spot, it doesn't feel right. It feels staged, probably because it is staged, and that's probably the definition of staged. But it went to the tune of Peroty to the left of me, Demon to the right, here I am, stuck in the middle with Errrh. On Two Titans and a Hunter, where we do our best to provide you with tips, tricks, and builds to help you navigate the Destiny universe. What makes us different? Well, 4 out of 5 of us have no idea what we're doing, and we're not streamers or YouTubers, even though we do have streams and YouTubes. We are just here to entertain and inform. And now, on with the show. And Peroty will fill in any gaps that I may have missed in that intro. Because there's a lot. Peroty's got a script, I do not, so I do my best to work off of memory, which we have all proven is highly unreliable.
Unscripted, not filmed from a live studio audience, and I don't know why you're all here.
Welcome back to I Don't Know Why You Play This Game, a Destiny 2 podcast, a show where we berate you for playing this broken beta of a game. Your hosts are the pink-panted titan extraordinaire, Peroty, your hunter lore scribe, with all the facts that we never remember, it's not Arf. Your leader of the hunter master race, the one and only Respawn. Finally, we come to the orchestrator of the chaos, the titan with the smooth British voice that is definitely not houndish, Nitedemon, or Nitedemon.
I have so many questions from last week. The first of which being, why are the rest of us even here? Because clearly we are not the most popular part of the show.
I guess not. Apparently the wives and the kids are, man. Every time we're on, everybody's disappointed. They either want wives or kids.
The amount of feedback that we've had have gone, you guys are funny, but last week was funnier. It's no, thanks for that.
But she's far better. I mean,
I don't even think it's the wife. I just think that they like hearing us abused or being abused.
Yeah.
I did appreciate him rushing to our defense when she said, I don't know if they do anything to help, let's be honest. And Nitedemon's response was just awkward silence.
So, I've done the intro. Somebody start something, please. This is already a train wreck.
Sir, this train comes pre-wrecked. We are
Fair
here
enough.
to give you all the leaping around you could ever want in your life. To play games where the characters are not real people. We're not here to listen to your marriage counseling. You're here to listen to ours.
For real.
And we're all really chuffed they pushed it to 8 stacks. We've got loads of Gambit. We've got moats on tap. And this week, the 3 of us are back together to tell you what's happening next week in Destiny. To hunt with the pack as Iron Banner returns. Enjoy Boosted Valor all week long. Shax is to bring Clash to the Crucible because he knows he can't stand up against Iron Banner. So Clash is just where you go in and you murder people. That's it. No objective. Nothing else. Just run over people, punch them, shoot them, throw things at them. Make them die, and do it again. And if you want some more PvE goodness, you can break into prison with the Warden of Nothing Nightfall, where there will not be double rewards or anything else. Just
what's the reward?
Nightfall.
What's the weapon?
Disappointments mostly.
Reward is salty Titan tears.
I don't know. I've lost track of which week is which.
This week is the plug 1, isn't it, that we're currently in? So does it go back to the Hung Juror next week, or do they change it up and add the other ones back into the rotation?
I know they were adding the other ones back in, and I don't remember if they said when or if they just said these would be the first 3 and then we'll dump the other ones in. So I don't know. You'll just have to run it and see what drops for you.
I'm guessing it's going to be 2 full rotations of the 3 that were added. So we've had the Hung Juror once, have we, or have we had it twice now?
We only had it once so far, I believe.
Okay. So I'm guessing that it's going to be the Hung Juror this week for the Nightfall reward. And then it'll be
Is it not locked to a nightfall like it used to be?
What do you mean?
No.
I mean, before the nightfalls, this certain nightfall had this weapon drop. Period, flat out.
No.
Right?
Where have
So
you
they're
been?
not-
That hasn't been a thing
Ah.
since Destiny 1.
Yeah, probably.
So someone who's more diligent than we are has put together a list of what the rotation is.
And
Yeah,
what is
but that's a
So-
list until they decide that they're going to dump the other 3 back in.
Well, no. Oh, it's got the palindrome and shadow price and or does it? Yeah.
So, assuming
It
this
sounds like
list is
someone
correct,
found. It sounds like
what
someone
do
found the
we
same list.
think it's
Yeah.
going to be
So
this week?
yeah. So our friends over at Shack News say it'll be the hung jury. So we are
Oh,
at
nice.
least on tap for
Woo!
the hung jury.
I was right.
But yeah. Unless they do pump. Yeah, because this is hung jury. The Usami RR4 plug 1 hung jury sniper plug 1. So it goes like that.
Well, the plug one was this week because I got a few rolls. I still don't have the god roll, but yeah, it was.
You
It was
don't
this
listen
week.
to a word I'm telling you, do you? I already
Nope.
said it was a plug one this week.
So they are just counting for the first 3 through the end of the season. So yeah, at some point that'll get changed.
Yeah,
up.
I think it'll
And,
probably be for the first 6 weeks. It'll be those 3 rotated twice. Then they'll add the other ones back into the rotation. Or it
Yeah,
might be
yeah, at
9
least-
weeks, so you get at least quite a bit of it, and then for the last bit of the rotation, they'll add
at
the
least
other
give
3.
people a couple chances at the new stuff before they pollute the pool, as Respawn would say with everything else.
Dilute. I would say dilute the pool, but yeah, close enough.
Dilute, pollute. It just depends on what you're looking for. If you're getting sniper rifles for everything, that it could be polluted.
That's definitely pollution. Yeah. Oh god. Speaking of sniper rifles, have any of you done the
No,
the Vault of Glass? I think Damon has.
still a no.
Mhm. Yes, I have.
Oh, Arf.
No, not yet. I haven't had a chance.
Oh, sad face.
Why are we
I've
talking
done it-
sniper rifles then?
Because
How's
part of
that
one
tie
of
in
the
with the Vault Pass?
one of the encounters, you need sniper rifles to do the encounter properly.
I have never used a sniper rifle, so I don't know what
I
you're talking
don't
about.
care what you've used.
Well, then you don't need a sniper rifle, so your
I said
information's wrong,
I
sir.
said to do it properly. Obviously, you didn't do it properly.
You did it properly.
No, you didn't.
There's lots of proper stuff in there that I've
No,
done, and I've
no.
not once
No,
picked up a sniper rifle.
because you're bad at the game.
Okay. Go on then. Which encounter is this? This magical encounter that I need a sniper
It's
rifle
not
for?
a magical encounter. It's Antheon.
It's what?
Antheon.
Antheon?
Atheon.
What's
Antheon?
Antheon? Antheon?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me what Antheon is? Because I said Atheon.
No,
He's
you
the one
didn't.
who's decorated in ornaments, who's going to give you some major scrazes as you try to fight him.
Yep.
Why are you using sniper rifles?
Because where you're supposed to be, sniper rifles tied with anarchy and a super is the best DPS you could do.
No, sir. No, sir.
Yes, sir.
No, the
No,
crown
sir.
splitter's the best you can do.
Yeah, you walk up to him and use the crown splitter.
I will. He'll never see it
no.
coming. He'll never expect it.
That's accurate. He will never see it coming. I can support that 100%.
There are a couple of strats that you can use, and I will link them in the show notes. There's a couple of cool videos where people bubble up on his legs and use double shotguns, the slug shotguns.
That sounds like a bad day.
No, they melt.
Still sounds
Atheon.
like a bad day.
So basically the same strat as Deepstone Crypt, only with Antheon. It's like, no, we can
Yeah.
just stand here and
Well,
shotgun you till you die.
That
And it's the
same
same
strat
with
is for
Templar.
another boss in the Vault of Glass. Yeah, the Templar. That's the same strat. Double shotgun anarchy. Yep.
Double shotgun anarchy with breach and clear, and
Oh, I love
yeah,
it.
is phenomenal. And you can do the same with to Atheon as well.
Mhm.
And also, there's a new strat where people are using double fusions as well.
Linear or just
No fusion
standard?
rifles, just
Really?
standard fusion rifles.
What?
I'm guessing they must use like
All Telesto all the time. 2 Telestos.
How are they
three
getting,
Telestos.
how are they getting double fusions? Maybe it's maybe
Well,
the
in order for you to use double fusion, you have to use the exotic primary, right? So that's one out, right? And then the second one would maybe be something with lower half of the magazine does more damage. The name is escaping me right now. You know, I don't know. That does sound weird. I'm gonna have to check that out. Maybe that's worth looking into.
Well, now I'm
And
curious.
everybody, okay, I was gonna say everybody got
Because
real
the
quiet.
I mean, because the Vex Mythoclast is a fusion rifle, technically, right?
It is an auto fusion. Yeah.
It drops as you could do yeah. I mean, I guess Arbalest is or
Well, that's a
Bastion.
linear.
Well,
That's
yeah,
a
well,
linear.
okay, well,
Oh yeah,
Bastion's.
Bastion, yeah.
I was trying to think. I was like, there's got to be another one that I'm forgetting about. Yeah, so Bastion
That's what I said. The
is
primary is the Bastion exotic. Yeah, that's what I had said first, and then the second's got to be a legendary with like, I don't know, bottom of half the magazine does extra damage. I would guess.
I think
Right?
I think it's that new fusion rifle that you can get the not the loaded question, the other one, the new one.
the plug
There's a bunch of
or
new
the
ones.
null
There's the
composure.
plug one, and then
Null
there's
composure,
the null
that's the one.
composure. Yeah,
No
okay.
composure. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, you
actually
can-
really good. Like
Oh,
I was using it to get the skins
yeah, with
this
your
week.
with the reservoir burst on it and
Yeah,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's how it is. I'll have to
and
double check the video.
I was using it this week, guys, and that thing for a rapid fire fusion, I was getting kills from way farther than I should have. So that gun is pretty daggone good if you haven't used it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun if you're not using Telesto, which I
Yeah,
try
well-
to take off, but I'm really struggling to take it off.
Before we got diverted over sniper rifles and this magical encounter that you have to use a sniper rifle
Oh
for,
my god!
that you don't have to use a sniper rifle for.
You
don't
know,
listen to
one
him.
of us have done it twice while recording it with sniper rifles, and one of us has not. So I think of the two of us, I've got more clout here, bud.
How do you know I
Was-
haven't recorded it? How do you know?
Because you haven't recorded it. Have you recorded it? No, I didn't think so.
Yes, I have.
Did you? Show me the video.
Well, I will when I upload the video next week.
Yeah,
I
you
was
don't
gonna
have
say,
the video.
is it going to be in the show YouTube version for this week?
Yeah. He ain't recorded nothing. He did an audio recording of him saying that he recorded it. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I was
Mhm.
professional enough, I'd
Even-
insert it here so
okay,
people could
okay,
see
okay,
as we're talking
okay.
about it.
Even if you
Not
did
bad.
a video, I've still got 2 videos out showing that my strat with the sniper rifles work just fine.
No, my
And
two
you got-
shots work
you
perfectly
got
fine
one?
until
You got what?
They
maybe
stopped it.
one video, maybe one imaginary video.
Well, nobody ever said your strategy didn't work. He just said it's
Oh
not
no,
required.
he says no. He says
he
it's
didn't say you
imaginary.
couldn't.
He said it's an imaginary strat with these.
No, he said it's imaginary
snipers.
encounter.
Uh,
No, he called the whole encounter imaginary. And Antheon is imaginary because he's not real. It's all imaginary. It's all made up.
he's real. He's just digital.
That's not real.
Don't take this from me.
yeah, you don't need a sniper rifle. But before we kind of got derailed by that, Peroty, tell us about Iron Banner and what
No.
magical things that you can get from Iron Banner.
Nothing.
Iron Banner, you can get all the guns, and they've even fixed it so the guns you couldn't get last time now you can get. So
They
you can
fix
farm
it so
for.
that you can get all the guns.
Mhm. Well, I should say they say they fixed it. I did see someone on Reddit, who was holding on to his extra bounties, very dutifully trying to hold on to things and going, "Hey, you can turn these in now and get the stuff, get additional rolls of the Riz Walker and the Archons, whatever the machine gun was called."
Mhm.
Which allegedly those will just drop in the loot pool now, and you won't have to, get one and done and be happy with the roll you got, or 3 and done if you ran all 3 characters because you have all the time in the world.
Well, I didn't go on Reddit and post that I'd saved up my bounties, but I can tell you guys and anybody else that was listening that I saved up my bounties and then I turned them in after the patch, and I didn't get one wrist walker, so I was really upset. I was really deflated.
Aw.
I got I got other powerful stuff, but it didn't turn in anything nice for me.
Oh.
But it's nice to hear that somebody on Reddit did get, good wrist walker.
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
I mean, I don't know if it was a good one. He got one at all, so
Yeah,
of the
did get
4
a good
things,
one
at
the
least
first
one of them
time.
dropped. So.
I mean,
And
I've got one that's
Archon's
got
Thunder.
82 range on it, which is pretty cool.
That's all the range. Well, not all the range, but
Not
most
all
of the range.
yeah. Most of the range. If it
I've
had a
already
range
forgotten what a
master,
wrist walker is. Is that a shotgun?
shotgun,
Yeah.
primary shotgun.
Thought so.
The thing you'll get killed by lots and lots if it's not the one true shotgun.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 true shotguns now, bud. I don't know if
No.
you heard this.
Nope,
There's 2.
there's only one true
Oh,
shotgun.
there's 2. So the new shotgun, the one from the Vault of Glass, can kill you further than the Fellwinter's Lie. If you didn't know, it has more range than the Fellwinter's Lie. However, the Fellwinter's Lie is still more consistent at its range. So
Whose
take
video
that how
did you
will.
watch for that information?
Quite a few videos, sir. And if you want to know, I'm pretty sure it was Fallout initially, and then Astrocross backed it up. Well, I might have that
Mhm.
backwards.
I didn't know, but
Yeah.
consistency is important.
Consistency is important at like I think what is it, 6.5, 7 meters? Fellwinter's is more consistent, but the God, I can't remember the Vault of Glass shotgun, man. I have like 8 of them, and I
Found
can't remember the
Verdict.
damn. Thank you. The Found Verdict can kill you at 7.5 to 8.3 meters. 8.3
Well,
meters
that's not
is
further then, is it?
yeah, it is.
No,
You know what? You watch the videos. I might have the
I
numbers
did.
wrong, but the
I
Found
watched the
Verdict can
video
kill you
and I put it in the
further than the
links
Fellwinter's Lie
last
can.
week because it was a
Mhm.
25-minute video of
Yep.
him testing many different roles from
Yep.
many different shotguns.
No, I'm
And at
not thinking about
not
that
one
one.
point did he say that
I'm
Found
not thinking about
Verdict
that one.
is better than the others.
We're not talking about the same video. The one I'm talking about was only a comparison between uh the the Found Verdict and the Fellwinter's Lie. I don't know what you're talking about with a whole bunch of different shotguns.
Well, he tested the Astral Horizon, the Found Verdict,
Mm-hmm.
the Fellwinter's Lie,
Mm-hmm.
the Wristwalker, I think, as well,
Yeah,
just to
you can
see.
keep naming all the shotguns. I get what you're saying. What I'm saying is
It
the one
was
I'm talking
literally
about. They only
25
compare the
minutes
two.
of him and his mates just testing various different roles, slide shotgunning, crouch shotgunning, just to see distances, pellet spreads.
Right?
So yeah.
I'm telling
So
you, man,
Peroty,
the Found Verdict
Iron
can kill
Banner.
you further than
Tell us
Fellwinter's Lie.
how we win that game mode.
You don't.
You
Yeah,
walk
keep doing
around,
it, keep
you
doing it.
capture the zones. Every time you capture zones, you get super energy, so it's worth capturing the zones. If you capture all 3 zones at once, it locks the zones out for a time, and you can murder the entire team while they can't capture zones, and you get lots of good loot and bonus damage for that.
Bum, 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 bum.
And there are 4 bounties you can pick up, aren't there, from Salad Lord himself?
Mm-hmm.
Salad what?
Yeah, from the Salad Lord, you can get your 4 bounties and continue. He also has a quest if you didn't play the last Iron Banner or just ignore it completely. And the quest they made less insane this season, so you don't have to get 87 kills with weapons you don't want to use ever again. The 3 sniper rifle kills are good fun though, so yeah, good luck with that. And basically,
3 total or 3 rapid kill ones?
No, 3. Just you just need 3 kills with the sniper rifle. That's it, just 3.
Really?
That's part of the quest step.
That's awesome.
So just wait for people just to line up for you and just watch a doorway until they walk through and murder them all. And then Iron Banner is basically just a modified version of Control. Run around, capture the zones, get super from capturing zones, which I'm going to keep saying because if you don't capture zones, everyone is sad with you and you lose the game because the other team will be capturing the zones and getting their nice super bump and they will destroy you. And there's a whole
speaking from experience, but
yes, from every Iron Banner that there's ever been in the entire history of the world. And there's lots of I really appreciate how they give us the pictures of the Iron Banner loot. Like I'm going to remember what any of these are. But they do have the Archon's Thunder and the Wristwalker again. And then there's a hand cannon and a sniper rifle that I tell you what they are, but 19 will tell me that I'm wrong. And it's the different hand cannon, so I'll let him tell you what they are.
Occluded Finality is the sniper. And the Finite Impactor is the hand cannon. Yeah.
Well, there we go. And that's what your loot will be.
Antheon.
Yeah, so the 4 bounties are pinnacle rewards. So depending on where you are in your pinnacle grind, it's between 2 and 5 power levels. So if you're below 1310, I believe that you get a good bump of about 3 to 4 light. And anything above 1310, it's +2 to your light. So you've got some good bumps there to help you get up to 1320 if you're chasing pinnacles. And the quest will give you drops from armor and 1 of each weapon as you go through the quest. So you'll get a chance at doing the shotgun, the machine gun, the hand cannon, and the sniper as well. So you will get drops. As if you do that on all 3 characters, it's 3 guaranteed drops and more powerful rewards from your bounties if you can do those. They do mix them up each time as well. So I have known people to hang on to their bounties and they rotate and there'll be different objectives for them. But I think last time it was just like capture zones, kill some people, kill people with supers, kill people with heavy or energy weapons. So they do like to mix them up as well.
Yeah, and the nice thing about the bounties is none of them are skill based. Like it's all things where it's like you go and get go get this number of kills overall, or go capture this number of zones. It's like if you just play the game type, you'll get the bounties done without a whole lot of stress, which I
Yeah,
appreciate.
nowadays. Yeah.
Well, yeah, nowadays. Before days, who cares? Because those are the before times. We don't talk about those.
Yeah. I wish I didn't remember those.
I'm surprised you remember anything.
That's a good point, but the trauma remains. The good stuff goes away, but the trauma likes to hang around, man. Damn it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the trauma of running mayhem with 2 suppressor grenades and just being like, you have supers. No, you don't.
Oh my god, did you do that?
Maybe.
That's hilarious.
I'm not very good at it, but it's a lot of fun just to throw a suppressor grenade everywhere, being like, it's a super. No, it's not a super game type. It's a you're very confused, Mr. Chaos Reach guy who's going to jump into the air, nuke us all, and all of a sudden is standing there going, what happened?
Yeah. Wasn't the game mode last week the one where weapons are more powerful? What was that one called?
Momentum control, yes.
Yeah, momentum control.
Yep.
That was fun.
Yeah, I jumped into that for a little bit because there is the weekly challenge of getting, I want to say 75 kills or 50 kills of Guardians of Momentum Control, which grab your favorite scout rifle, sit back, and it's done.
Yeah.
Yo. Also, really good time to do not bounties. Catalysts. Yeah.
Yes.
Do
Scout
all of
rifle
them.
catalysts are good ones, like the Jade Rabbit. That was a good one to do in there. And this week I've been progressing
Jade
my
Rabbit.
Mida multi-tool.
Look at
Mida's been pretty good
Uh,
because that's been getting a lot of good press since the
And
buff.
did anybody else
with
see
all
that
the
closet
change
flex
for
he
the no
just did?
distractions.
Really? Nobody else is gonna call him on his little closet flex?
What's that? What closet flex?
Okay, how do you get the Mida multi-tool catalyst?
They just give it to you
They do not
when you
just give it
play
to you.
when you play Crucible. They do. They gave it to me.
Oh no, sir. No,
They did.
sir.
They did.
You have to meet special requirements in the Crucible.
I
to get
am
that bad boy.
special. I got
You wanna-
Bungie privileges.
You want to tell them what those special requirements are, there, bud?
No.
Come on. No. People want to know how to get the Mida multi-tool catalyst. Why don't you tell them how to get the Mida multi-tool catalyst? Are you
I want
ashamed
to
of your
see if
skills?
you know how to get the catalyst.
Oh,
Let's see
I
how good
do
your
know how.
memory
That's
is.
why I'm never gonna get it. Yeah, you have to reach a certain rank inside of You have to reach 5,500 inside of the professional playlist, the sweaty
Comp?
playlist.
Competitive.
Yeah.
Come.
And
No, you
then
don't
after you hit
There's no professionals
5,500,
there.
you have to win a game mode while in 5,500, and then maybe, just maybe, it'll
Bless
drop.
you. You are so far behind on this. They changed that a long time ago.
Oh, did they? How do they do it
Yes. It
they
used to
do it?
be that you had to reach 5,500 and you used to have to play a game and win to get the catalyst to drop. And if you get to 5,500 now and you haven't had the catalyst to drop and you play a game, it then automatically drops afterwards. You win or lose, it will just drop. But the minimum requirements to get the catalyst to drop are 4,000 to drop this time. So anything,
Okay.
if you can get to 4,000 in comp, it's a random drop. And luckily, the Bungie gods were shining down on me and went, "Here, I'll have this for a gun that you do not use." And
Okay. And
I
what
tried.
was
I
your
tried doing the
rank when you
catalyst.
got it?
No idea.
You can't threaten me with a bad time, sir.
Still,
It was a couple.
closet
It was a
flex.
couple of seasons back.
Okay,
And I did.
that's an implemented a couple of seasons back.
It was. It's been changed a long time ago.
You lie.
Look, I know you've been on another podcast last week where you were allowed to have free reign of swearing, but this whole conversation has just been dolphined out.
Oh, whatever.
I was fairly sure they had changed that at some point, but I couldn't remember because I honestly can't think of the last time I touched the Mida multi-tool.
I did it in solo comp, and it was just I given myself a goal of trying to get to 5,500 because I thought I really want to try at least once to see if I can do it. And I kind of got to the end, near the end of the season, and I got to 4,000, and I just couldn't progress any further. I just didn't have enough time to sit down and play. But luckily, it was one of those things that it just randomly dropped, and I was like, this is amazing. I don't have to get to 5500 to get this. And then I
Mhm.
tried to complete the
we're done.
catalyst when it was the old version of the Mida multi-tool, and it wasn't doing as well as it is in momentum control, because it's literally, I think it's 2 headshots and they're dead, which is helping progress the catalyst, which gives you the no distractions, which apparently is turning it into a really good gun in normal Crucible. So which is why I'm going to try and get it completed this week, and it's 200 kills to unlock the catalyst once you've got the catalyst dropped for you. So it's not so bad in momentum control.
Is that Guardian kill then?
No,
Yes,
that's
it's only
just...
Guardian kills.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. And the other thing that I found out is that I've got like 4 different ornaments for it that have dropped over the years from Eververse.
Oh,
and
the
the
ornaments
only
are the best for that gun, dude. Sorry,
The
continue.
only one that I can kind of work with on this, if I can just look it up.
It's the urban one, the urban camo.
No, hang on.
I like that one a
Where
lot.
is it? Is the original one that it comes with
The grass one?
the default, the default ornament on it,
Yeah.
or the titanium alloy, because it has the little pointy hat on it. The other ones, which are
You said the little pointy hat on it. Did I hear that right?
there's a way of using it. The other one, which is the Mida Tactical, Desert Camo, or
Pointy
Digital
hat.
Ops,
The
will have
Mida-
have
the
a
tactical
red
ones are
dot
all
or a
like-
dot on the screen, which is a lot
Yeah.
harder to hit the headshots. With the little hat, what was found is that if you put the hat on the top of a Guardian's head, you will hit consistent headshots. So the little V just goes on the Guardian's head, and you hit the Guardian in the face.
With the
It's a
little
proven
hat.
thing. It's a Fallout thing. I'm sure it is.
The little hat. Got it.
A little hat. Yeah.
Oh,
Little hat.
that's
Put it on the
amazing.
Guardian's head, above his head, not on
Mhm,
his.
mhm.
Not, you don't want the upside down V on his face. You want it on his head, so it's a hat.
Hold on. No, hold on.
Hang on.
Hold on. Scout rifles.
Why are we?
That's not the right ones. Damn it.
Because we're both frantically trying to find that gun, equip it, and put that ornament on it to see what it looks like.
No, you don't need to do that. Just go to your collections. Go to your collections. It's right there.
Just
Alright, so
talking
the-
about ornaments and
There's the
Eververse.
titanium. Okay. Desert camo
Yeah.
is flame.
Just talking about ornaments and Eververse. Did you actually come clean to Deacon how much you spent on silver?
Ooh, no, he did not. I guarantee he didn't tell his wife how much he spent on silver.
We don't talk numbers.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's,
No. I love the part where she goes, "Oh, this game's not that expensive." Oh no, they're still expensive. I just don't tell you how much we pay for them.
Yeah.
That was the best part. Oh, they're still expensive. I just don't tell you how much we pay for 'em. You got me killed. I was laughing so hard. Oh god. Anyway. FYI, it's $60 for the video games on average now, unless your husband buys the premium versions of the games where they give you stuff, and then you usually add another 20 or 30 onto that. Miss
Who are you
Demon's wife.
telling this to?
Your wife.
She's not going to listen to this one.
yeah, she only listens to the one she's on.
This will just be edited out.
Yeah. And it can be edited out.
Right.
Thinking how I can get this to it. Can I leave comments? Will she look at the comments? You think?
No, not at all. So
Speaking of
since we're on
Deacon.
the topic of no, if there's a Deacon story, by all means, sir.
No, I was just going to say, speaking of Deacon, we don't need to go through Destiny 2 hotfix 3.2.0.3, do we, Peroty? Because
We do
Deacon,
not.
thankfully, told us everything that was going to be changed. So this
Mhm.
is all your activities that were changed, your free roam stuff, all your stasis stuff, all your raids that were fixed. Well, they fixed problems. Apparently
must
there was
have missed that
problems and
part.
issues.
Did she really?
Which part did you... Yes.
I don't remember her saying any of that. Maybe that was later on or something.
Oh, that was all along with the this game is broken. Why do you still play it? If this game
I
is so
remember
broken,
that part.
there's so many issues. Why do you play this game?
So if you listened in between those parts, she did tell you some information about what was actually being hotfixed. So this is things like players could kill Antheon in the future Vex portal before the encounter started. You could kill Antheon by tethering supplicants as they self-destruct to kill him instantly.
that I
things like
do.
that.
Yeah.
And the other thing,
the path
I
of the
know
beginning
you
step.
listened to this because you said, you were upset where they fixed an issue where Minotaurs, their shields could be broken using a Prometheus lens. And I said to you, don't worry, you can still use the colony. And Cheese Forever has a video on that.
I feel like somebody last night said the colony also got patched. Maybe
Uh-oh.
I thought like someone in Frozen
You
Discord
literally
said it,
have to, in the Cheese Forever video, you literally have to be on top of them. You're in the shield and you fire the colony for it to work. You can't use it at distance, it won't work.
So it's not so much that you've gotten through the shield as you place the gun up to their forehead and press the
you
trigger.
take a chance at being smacked in the
I
head.
see. It's the same glitch with the damn gun that you could damage invulnerable enemies by putting the gun through their shield and then shooting. Same principle?
Yes.
Okay, I got
It's
you.
the same principle that I think Cheese says you can use it in Deep Stone Crypt, you can use it in Garden Salvation for various different bosses that have those kind of shields.
Please press gun until gun makes contact
And if it
with
doesn't
foe.
work,
Fire trigger. Hope for best.
If it doesn't work, all feedback needs to go to Cheese because he's the one that's instigated this for me to tell you.
I see. Well, I mean, maybe because Cheese put it out there, it's been patched. Bungie's all like, whoa, what? Hold up. Because Bungie watches him now. Yeah. Yeah, when Cheese says stuff, Bungie's
I could actually ask him I could send him a message now. I could be really professional, but,
That's assuming he'll answer right now, though.
He answers me all the time.
Does he?
Yeah,
all
me
right.
and him have chats all the time.
Prove it.
Friends.
Send him a message. Ask him what he says. Ask
What-
him what he says? Never mind.
Ask
While
him what
he's
he
doing
says.
that, shut up. I know. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I heard it. But one of the things that Peroty said that I didn't notice, and that I haven't noticed because I don't ever use that subclass, but it's a hunter thing. And I thank you, Peroty, for pointing this out because now on a subclass I never even use, I'm angry about. So, whenever I use Gunslinger, I use bottom tree,
I would
or
say why, but,
rare instances, middle tree, right? Never do I use top tree because why would you? Bottom tree gives you super back faster, bottom tree gives you 3 really strong hits, etc. Unless you're using it inside like Crucible, where you can just get 13 shots by hopefully finding enough enemies that close to each other to keep chaining those shots. Why would you ever use top tree? Well, you wouldn't. And here's another reason you wouldn't. Because apparently top tree, because the golden gun is based off of the image of an actual hand cannon, it also receives the same nerfs as hand cannons do. What am I talking about?
Hang on, I think you'll find it's exactly the same one as the last word.
Yeah, exactly, right? So,
And if you look in your Respawn's report roundup, there's the information there for you.
well, yeah, probably. I don't know if we're going to get to
Don't just
that.
rattle off stuff that you've heard. Read the stuff.
All right, fine. I'll look in stuff. Where's it at? Right? There. Okay, yeah, it was already there. Okay. So now I need to extend it out just a bit. Perfect. There we go. Bam. So, yeah. Anyway, so, yeah. Which one do I read first? Top one. Okay. Hey, Bungie! I don't mean to alarm you or anything like that. Just a small bug. But Golden Gun, Golden Gun, by the way, guys, in case you guys don't know, is a super! Okay. Just a small bug, but Golden Gun can literally not kill anyone at 34 meters. And, get this, guys, not only can it not kill anybody flat out at 34 meters, it gets damage fall off. Again, this is a super! Okay? So, it faces fall off at 23 meters. Just 23 meters. Oh, God. So, Golden Gun, according to this guy, is now officially a sidearm. And you know what? Top tree Golden Gun, anyway. And I have to agree. Okay. Now, as funny as this may be, it makes the super pretty doggone worthless, right? I know you wanted to separate the two branches, make top tree more of a dueler and bottom tree more of a sharpshooter. But when any super literally can't even kill at the average range of a hand cannon in the game, Don't you think that's a bit of a problem? Now, he is talking to Bungie as though Bungie gives a damn about hunters. They do not, right? The only time Bungie cares about hunters is when hunters are good. When hunters are nerfed in really weird ways like this, it'll probably never get fixed. But, moving on. He continues. The average legendary hand cannon quite literally has more range than top tree golden gun. Let me say that again for all you hunters out there. The average legendary hand cannon quite literally has more range than the golden gun, which, by the way, in case you didn't know, is a super ability! In case you didn't know.
Sorry, we couldn't hear that over the dolphins.
Yeah.
And also you just keep like fading out and staticking.
Yeah, it's like you're running
Static-ing
across
out.
your room screaming and shouting.
Well, I'm trying to move away from my mic so it doesn't yell in your ears. But
Well,
point is it is a super ability
That's what you
that
think,
has
sir.
the same range as a hand cannon. Not even a good hand cannon, like a mid to bottom tier hand cannon. Holy crap-a-dapolis. Come on, Bungie. This happens every single time you change hand cannons. Goldie gets a side nerf as collateral. You should be able to anticipate this by now. They do. This is intentional. Most likely.
no.
Knowing them. Can you please make my super, actually kill people? I agree. For those wondering, Golden Gun officially starts damage fall off at 23 meters. This isn't Golden Gun anymore. It's Golden Sidearm. I completely agree. I don't even use this class, mostly because it's like a PvP class. But you know what? That is BS. That is so BS. And for all you guys that are out there that are like, oh, well, you don't even use it. What do you care? It's the principle of it, right? A super ability, any super ability in the game, Golden Gun, freaking anything, should not have a damage fall off, period, right? And even if it did have a damage fall off, it shouldn't be at the range of a common legendary weapon in the game, right? That is inexcusable, no matter how you look at it, right? Imagine if you threw a Nova Bomb, right? And
Yeah,
the
I'm
further the
imagining.
Nova Bomb got, the weaker it got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it
Yeah.
just faded off into a puff of smoke.
No.
Okay.
No. Because even
It
golden
tickled me.
guns
It got to me and
eventually,
tickled me.
there's no way. If it reaches you and it detonates, it kills you. Antheon.
Well, you just said, imagine if it kind of just tails
Yeah.
off.
Imagine if it didn't.
So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
that's what I was imagining. It
Or
got to
imagining.
me and kind of just tickled me and maybe took away a shield.
Yeah. Maybe. If that, right? The only other super that I can think is anywhere close to this kind of ridiculous thing is the Middle Tree Arc Warlock, where your Kamehameha has a distance where it just doesn't reach, which kind of makes sense, right? Your energy can only flow out so far, I guess, right? But, up until that point where it disappears, you still get full damage on it, right? It does abruptly just stop at a distance, which I don't know what it is, but it does abruptly just stop. But even if you get somebody at the very, very tip of your super, it's still doing the full damage at least, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure somebody will, but I'm fairly certain it does full damage the whole length of the beam. But for Golden Gun, whether top, bottom, doesn't matter, to have less damage based on how far the opponent is, and then just have a damage fall off where it won't kill them at all, and that damage fall off be 34 meters, is ridiculously bad. And I honestly can't believe that Bungie has not noticed this. I haven't noticed this because I don't play that class ever, right? That's my bad. But for the programmers, for the guys that make the game, to not know WTF is happening with their supers in the game, I think is inexcusable. So, Bungie, these two gentlemen or ladies or whomever's they may be, please take their advice and fix your game. I know it's a hunter. I know you don't like hunters. And I know you're probably happy that this side nerf happens every single time you do a buff or debuff to the hand cannons. But please, do your jobs. Do your due diligence and fix your damn game, even if it is related to a hunter. That's all. That's all I want. Make your game playable. Can you do that? Is that a thing? Can we all agree the game should be playable for all classes? Yeah? No? Maybe?
Maybe
Something?
not.
Okay. Fair enough.
Good. So as you're here, you might as well carry on with your Respawns Report Roundup.
I will carry on then. Data engineer anti-heat. Apply now. Overview. Do you enjoy using data to solve complex and nuanced problems? Are you passionate about game security? Do you want to empower security analysts to find bad guys, discover new cheats, and swing the ban hammer? Do you enjoy? And that's all I can see. Apparently, Bungie's hiring people. So Bungie's bringing more on board for anti-cheat stuff. Okay. Bungie help. We've made a change to our bandwidth limits that our servers use. The goal of the change is to reduce teleporting enemies in certain activities. Some activities won't be affected by this change. If you still see this issue, let us know in our help forums at bungie.net, right? So you mean a company that has an online video game that has everybody connecting to their servers had limited their server bandwidth? Just more stupid things. Like, how as a company can you do that? You don't.
That's how networking works.
No.
Was it bandwidth out to the person? Was it bandwidth within their data center? There's many places you can mess with bandwidth.
That's fair.
They had talked a couple weeks ago about how they were changing how they were handling the data streams internally when they had that tech blog where they basically said, we're basically crossing the streams, and that caused some issues we didn't anticipate because we sort of put multiple streams into sort of one pipe for everything to flow down, and there was too much data flowing down that pipe, like too many cars on the road. So it sounds something like that. They're continuing to adjust the way they're internally handling these the bandwidth of their data streams between their internal servers. It's not like they're limiting the bandwidth out to the player base.
That's what it sounded like. Because I mean, the players were the ones seeing the issue with the teleporting things, right? So that tells me if the players are seeing the teleportation issues, they're limiting the bandwidth to the players. Well, is that 100% true? Probably not, but I mean, that's what it sounds like.
It's 0% true because it's not like you're hitting one. It's not like there's one server that serves you Destiny the game. It's a whole massive
a server farm. Yeah,
it's a whole massive complex of servers and probably multiple server farms that's serving you the game. So them teleporting isn't necessarily that you as the player doesn't have enough bandwidth to get what Bungie's sending you for data. It's the servers talking to each other are not in sync or aren't able to process fast enough to give you everything all at once.
You're correct in what you say, but it could also be limiting to the players, right? I mean, you said it like, oh no, there's no way limiting the bandwidth to the players would cause that issue. It would.
Right, yeah, no, it absolutely would, but also that's not really Bungie's call to make because that's your ISP at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
So, okay. Destiny news. ICYMI.
In case you missed it.
I did not know that meant that. Thank you. Bungie has confirmed that 90% extra damage increase on starter scales is a bug. Damn it. And will be fixed in the future. This new fix, 8 stacks, will be higher than the 60% but lower than the 90. I believe it came out as 70, wasn't it? I believe, if I remember correctly, it came out as a 70% buff.
What I want to know is what's Deacon's take on the 8 stacks, because she was really chuffed about it last week.
Yeah. She thought that, going from 40, they might have pushed it to 60, wasn't it? But no, they've pushed it to 80 or something.
Even better.
I don't know.
Destiny news, in case you missed it. I learned a thing. You see that? I'm pointing at my camera that's not even there. Bungie also filed a trademark BungieCon last year. Maybe we'll hear more about it soon. Bungie has filed a new trademark, Destiny Guardians, on May 27th, 2021. Destiny Guardians trademark, huh? Okay, fair enough.
Is it to differentiate or to keep the U.S. military from using Guardians in their Space Force and causing confusion because Destiny was there first?
I still can't believe that we actually have a Space Force. Every time I hear about that, I'm thinking it's a meme or something, right? There's no way we have a Space Force. But if you look it up, it is a thing. It's not
Rest of the
active.
world are all
yet.
just saying only in America.
It
Yeah,
does sound
right.
like
I just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
whatever, man. I mean, I know that there's some sketchy things in the military from my time that was in, and I know that a lot of these UFOs, what they actually were, right? And we're talking 10, 20 years advance of what we see, right?
So
But
what were
to
they?
have a space force, oh, that stuff is still highly classified, dude. No.
Not so much
Um,
anymore. They've declassified a bunch of that stuff recently. But anyway.
Yeah, but no, there's some of these no. Some of the stuff I still can't talk about. The lore tab of the is okay. So deicide. How would you pronounce that? Deicide.
Shotgun.
Deicide. All right, whatever. The deicide shotgun has a bunch of binary codes that translate into CEFDBDEA, which are the notes for Savathun's song. There you go.
Ark, is there anything that you can tell us about this?
Yeah, there was a binary code found in one of the weapon lore tabs. I can't remember which weapon it is. I think he's just been talking. Is it deicide?
Yep.
The shotgun.
Yeah, the deicide.
And yeah, Raid Secrets actually decoded the binary code, and it turns out it's the notes for Savathun's song. So effectively, all the tower systems have already been infiltrated by Savathun.
So just like in real life, our in-game cybersecurity isn't great.
Jeez.
Yeah, but if you think about it, part of the tower systems is Laxmi's future seeing machine, or Oracle engine, whatever you want to call it. I can't remember exactly what you call it, but that's part of the tower system, so that could actually be influenced by Savathun.
That's interesting.
So it could be the old trickster. It could be the old trickster doing a normal thing and actually sowing discontent in the tower.
Okay, first of all,
Yep.
And
I
second
got
of
nothing.
all,
I
second of all-
lost my train of thought derailed.
would this also
doesn't take
affect
much.
all of our exo vendors and all the exos in the tower? Would that also extend to them?
That's what I was gonna say. Yes.
Exos, no. Brains, yes.
Exos have better firewalls.
No, Exos don't upload to the system anymore because they don't encrypt offline.
Yeah, but they're still digital,
Oh.
right? Their brain digitally
Yes,
talks
they
to its
are
body,
still
right?
digital, but they don't digitally connect to the tower system.
No, but won't hearing those notes still affect them?
Hearing them, yes.
Oh.
But who's to say they're hearing them? It's in a binary code embedded in in the system.
Okay, but
So unless they physically see them on a screen,
uh-huh.
well, I suppose yes. If you see them on the screen, I suppose yes, they could possibly be infected as well then. But it's unlikely they'll be affected because they're already paracausal beings that should have the ability to, or a certain amount of resistance to it because of the light.
Okay, fair enough. So, okay, we're talking about exos, right? And I started thinking about Cade. Could you imagine Cade, as absent-minded as he is, looking at the code and just auto-translating it in his brain? You don't give somebody like Cade 6 that amount of, let's use air quotes, intelligence to passively decode binary just by looking at it. You know what I mean? So, anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, but it could be that. Well, to be fair, we don't know how long it's been there. It's possible it's only a recent thing.
Yeah. But no, I was just talking about like in general, when I think of exos decoding, like just passively, for us as humans to look at binary and know what it means, that takes a certain level of brain power, right? So these exos that can just look at it and it translate into their, let's say, mainframe or whatever, right? Whatever they use to process things, right? For them to do that passively, requires a higher level of brain function. And then to also realize that Cade 6 was an exo who supposedly had this high level of brain function. I can't put the two together, man.
But that could be classed as the same thing as your subconscious mind is a high level of brain function.
Yeah.
But that could be another thing. If you know enough about it, you can look at it, not realize you've actually recognized it, but you've taken it all in and decoded it in subconsciously.
That could absolutely be it too. So moving on. At Bungie, we can have some PvE buffs for Behemoth for compensation at Bungie, can we have some PvE buffs for Behemoth as compensation after the nerf intended for PvP? Tocom says, yep, there is something on our radar. I don't know that name. Do you guys know that name? Y'all probably do. Bungie, please acknowledge traction! I'm sick of using only one effective leg armor mod because your sensitivity options are archaic. Acknowledged. Team is aware of the feedback and desire for more sensitivity options. Can't make a promise on when anything could happen, but folks could have a desire to add some options in the future. I guess it doesn't say what platform he's on, because I know on mouse and keyboard you can make your sensitivity as high as you want just by upping the DPS on your mouse, right? In addition to the sensitivity in the settings of the game itself. So when you can do like a 1080 in a fraction of a second, I don't think sensitivity is an issue for mouse and keyboard. So I'm guessing he's a controller user of some kind. I don't know. Okay. Oh, Destiny 2 Reddit. Spoiler, Helm of Saint 14 monster ornament, please. Actually, I could get behind that, right? I get behind that. And you know what? If you guys, since everybody voted for the dinosaurs, right? If you guys could find out a way to give Saint 14 the tail, or give the armor of Saint 14 like the Guardians wear, a tail, like what he had in that cutscene, in addition to the monster helmet, that would be by far, I think, the coolest armor in the game for years to come, right? The tail, the helmet, just I can't think of anything cooler. And I'm a little that Titans could potentially get something that cool, and Hunters still don't have anything that cool, because the one cool thing we could have had, y'all outvoted.
You've got a scorpion cloak.
Damn stuff.
Sir, I would like to point you to every bit of Hunter armor ever created in the entire game of Destiny franchise.
Listen.
As
Just
being
because
cooler
on
than
average,
everything the Titans have ever had. All of it, bar none.
That's not the point. The point is you have one potentially really good armor that we don't have, dude.
You got one thing, we don't have it.
It's the
Destiny
same with the
2
shoulder charge.
Reddit.
He's just non-stop. He wants everything that the Titans have.
He just wants to be a Titan deep in his heart.
I don't want a shoulder charge. I want Hunters to have a one-hit ability outside of a super that does not require a precision hit or precision hits with a weapon followed by a bounce, right? Just give me a one-shot melee that doesn't require any extra steps, right? Come on.
Yeah, it's called being a Titan or a Warlock.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it.
They've given it to you. The fact that you won't accept it isn't their fault.
So, Reddit, Destiny the game. This one is from Greninja05. Ooh, who was the other one from? I didn't say his name. This one is AR314 was the previous one for the same 14 months, right? So Greninja05 says, in Italian, blah, 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 freaking blah. In Italian, the Witch Queen DLC is called Queen of Whispers. Just wanted to let you guys know. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
What's your take on that, Arf? I need an Arf take.
On what?
I give up.
Sorry, I was driving. I zoned out for a second.
Give up.
Supposed to pay attention to us, not the road. Come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You joined a podcast from the road, you should have to do a respawn.
That's right. Come on. Okay, so the thing that you missed is, in Italian, the Witch Queen DLC is called Queen of Whispers.
Oh, that's cool.
And he asked what your take on that is.
Well, there's his take. That's cool.
Well, if you think Savathun is actually like a trickster, she is the Queen of Whispers as well. She does have many names. So, yeah, she's a witch queen, but she's the Queen of Whispers as well. So she, wherever she goes, she tricks people and sows discontent.
Oh, I thought there was going to be more to it than that.
Yeah.
Thanks for that disappointment, Arf.
I was going to say.
It may just be it may just be that Witch Queen doesn't translate very well in Italy.
Yeah, I was hoping there was going to be a deeper meaning. You were going to go off on like 6 hours of lore.
Something, and he just came up with something that completely makes sense in like a sentence. Very
I'm not happy
disappointing.
about that.
How dare you?
In fact, we've already had listener feedback that they're not happy about that.
Hold on. There you go.
No,
There
you
you go.
don't
There's-
listen. There's no point in
there's
you typing it in. You don't listen. You don't retain information.
See, there's a
has
difference.
to
I don't
actually be a
retain
listener.
it. I don't retain it. I'm listening. I'm just not retaining very well at all. So if we have him being British dad, does that make Deacon British mom?
Yes, that would make Deacon British mum.
Because that's what I was thinking, right? But British dad tries to keep the show together. British mom tries to tear it apart. Would that really be the role of a mom?
No. British mum undermines British dad.
Ah, there you go. Because I was thinking maybe like British mum-in-law.
Oh no, that's a whole new level of chaos.
Yeah.
That's a whole different DLC.
Yeah.
Gerry Raffety getting that are unbelievable.
Jeez.
Guys, I'm about to hit a dead zone, so I'm going to bow out now, and I'll wish you all a good afternoon.
Thanks for dropping in, Arth. Nice to chat to you for
Anytime,
2 seconds.
pleasure to be here.
So now it's time for a fashion show. Fashion show at lunch. Bungie wants you to splice down the runway. They've added, the true end game to Destiny is the fashion game.
Yep.
And
Always has
there's
been.
some inclined to agree. With the addition of the Guardian appearance screen since Season of the Splicer, they've been seeing countless Guardians mixing and matching their armor to build wonderful creations. So it's time we put those skills to the test with a fashion show. Let's see who can prove it and earn yourself this eye-catching fashion emblem.
My God. The hunter. What?
So they do provide a number of examples, inspiration, call it what you wish. Respawn clearly has strong feelings on how good the hunter looks.
No, that's not the word I would use. He's got the color scheme of a Titan over here, and he looks horrid. What is this? They just. Oh God. Continue. I'm sorry. I was not expecting this when I went to look down.
Stepped into a war with hunter fashion. So Bungie would like you to do this. They'd like you to dress up, throw together an awesome mix of armor and sweet shaders to create a set that you believe is a winner. Take the screenshot of this beautiful masterpiece and send the photo of your Guardian and the Guardian's appearance screen to them. They like to submit your photo on Twitter or on Instagram using the hashtag #SplicerFashionShow, and they'll be sharing the winners from June 7th to June 12th. Though doesn't say, so I guess you have until June 7th. So maybe by the time you hear the show, you'll have time to participate. Maybe you won't. So, but you can check out Destiny the Game on Twitter, and they'll show you who the winners are from the 7th to the 12th. And yeah, good luck.
That
I
Titan looks
suppose
pretty good,
the
though.
good thing about this is that you don't actually have to own the armor piece itself. You've just got to kind of have had it somewhere in your collections at some point. You don't necessarily have to have it unlocked, because in the appearance customization screen, you can create a kind of complete look from the ornaments that you want to put on your gear and the shaders, and you can actually have it looking like they've put in the TWAB at the moment, like just this is how you can kind of look if you want to earn the synth to unlock it. So you can kind of customize whatever you like and put whatever shaders on that you, as long as you've unlocked it somewhere in the game and it's there for you to kind of put on the armor. So you don't necessarily need to use a synth to unlock it and present this, which is quite nice. I suppose it's got a good change. Next time it'll be take a picture somewhere in the atmosphere that you need, have a great background or something, won't it?
Yeah, but for now,
they've already done that. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
But it's a little bit different now because I think they don't want to kind of incite people into a riot of the fact that you have to actually have bought the gear, have the synth to actually unlock it, to then
Right.
go and take your Guardian to a specific place. So this is a good idea that it's just in the customization screen that you need to do this.
yeah, just flat out use the new thing we've built, not have to own the new thing and be grumpy about the currency.
You notice both of the hunters are cheating?
I mean, that's what hunters do.
So
Why do you expect anything else?
don't come at me, Titan Guardian Games Year 1.
Nobody's coming at you.
Anyway, but no, if you look at all the other armors, they all have their armor set plus the exotic that they use. Neither one of the hunters have an exotic. They're cheating. They're trying to make the set look good without using their preferred exotic. Put on your preferred exotic and make your armor set
You don't need
look
to put
good.
on your preferred exotic.
Maybe
No,
maybe they don't.
This
Maybe they don't have a preferred
this
exotic.
is my addition. That Bungie doesn't say you have to, but I'm saying don't cheat. All right, especially us hunters right here. Right, see everybody else. Look at this right there. Boom, exotic. Ready? Boom, exotic.
You can
Boom,
cheat if you
exotic.
like. It's
See
just a
that?
fashion
Boom,
game.
exotic. No. Part of the fashion is fashion and function. Okay, you're not gonna roll without an exotic armor piece, so don't do that. Make your exotic armor piece a part of the fashion. All right.
But you can't properly, make the armor pieces look good in all situations.
That is not true. The freaking Orpheus rigs are a great piece to use, right? I use those all the time.
That doesn't help me.
So the Mask of Bacchus is also great. Arthur's Embrace, Oathkeeper, those are all really good looking exotics.
Arthur's
Winston
Embrace.
Best,
I thought it was Arthur's Embrace.
whatever, I'm illiterate. The Bombardiers, looks nice.
Does he have
Arthur's
a round
Embrace.
table?
Arthur wants to have a hug.
Dompies is another one, right?
Arthur
There's
doesn't have a hug.
tons of exotics hunters have that look good and that are functional. So get creative, but don't cheat. Antheon.
So, what else is in the TWAB for this week? Of the
Another patch out the door. Your wife already did. You said
3rd of June, 2021 parody. Is there more patches? Is there stuff about being photosynthesis? Yeah, that one.
Yeah, the photosensitivity notice.
That's
Which
the one.
is kind of a big deal because just like color blindness is irritating and can make the game less enjoyable.
and
The
not working.
photosensitivity is can cause seizures, can cause problems. It's no good. So recently they've seen a number of in-game reports of impacting photosensitive players, and we appreciate everybody who's notified us of the issues. We being Bungie, not we being this podcast, because we cannot help you with this, sadly. In addition to the in-game notice that was distributed this week, we're working on adding a permanent notice as part of the EULA, and also adding the notes in basically anywhere the game is sold online, saying, "Hey, there's photosensitive issues." I can't remember. I know I've seen the wordings before. Basically, prone to seizures. Don't watch this television program or movie. You'll see those notifications sometimes. They're adding that into the game as well. It'd be kind of maybe nice if,
especially this season with all the '80s lights and
Right,
neon
yeah.
everywhere. Yeah,
it might be nice to at least say like maybe where we're seeing this, but maybe it's just sort of canon could be anywhere.
when I was looking into this, they were saying that it was that new the weekly mission we have. What's it called?
The expunge missions.
The expunge. They were saying it was happening in the expunge. Whoop! I hit my mic. But yeah, it was in the expunge mission. Is where most of the complaints were coming from.
Yeah, so as we're seeing this, Bungie says, we are starting to look into the player reports and addressing these issues relating to specific effect combinations. So yeah, expunge or wherever they're seeing people having issues, they're going to start addressing them. They do say due to the complex nature of these changes, we are targeting a patch for later this year. We'll let players know when we have more to share, and we plan to use the knowledge from these fixes to refine their best practices moving forward. So, sucks that it's happening. At least they're aware of it and are taking steps to fix it. So, yeah, if you're photosensitive or have a photosensitive child that plays Destiny, just be aware that this is a thing and it's no good. We had enemies teleporting. They're, teleporting differently now. PC performance updates. We've updated your PC performances. They all perform now. Promise.
Because I did notice that on my desktop, I didn't notice any difference. But whenever I was playing remotely, like at the hotel and whatnot, I did notice some screen stuttering when I never had it before. So let me go back and I'll download this update on my laptop to see if they really did fix it. Because I was like, what the hell is going on with my laptop? It shouldn't be doing this. And maybe that's why they just had poorly optimized DLC. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay.
Maybe, but maybe not.
I'm hoping it is.
What we haven't fixed is you can be playing Gambit and watching motes in front of your eyes fall beneath the earth. Into the abyss, down into Hades. And I haven't noticed, I haven't watched them fall into the abyss while playing the new seasonal activity, but I'm sure it's happening. I've definitely seen them under the
Yes.
map there.
Yeah.
But it's just disheartening to run towards a pile of modes and just to see them like slowly melt into quicksand, as if it's some sort of mechanic in the game that at this point they should just introduce, because that's essentially what it is. It's been going on forever. Anyway, not part of the notes, just it got me on the tangent of that. Expunge rewards. Once again, guys, calendars are hard. So there are expunge rewards every week. That's the weekly mission. Players, weren't receiving pinnacle rewards because you weren't actually supposed to get the pinnacles until it becomes a thing in June 15th. They didn't bother to tell us this, so we're updating our articles and calendars to reflect this better. By better, we mean at all. So once
Bungie.
again, calendars are tough.
This is the second time that you've messed up the calendar, and I don't want to be rude, and I don't want, you put a lot of time and effort into this game, but please, for the love of God, when you refine your calendars and telling people what is coming where, what is free, what is going to be here and there, please get it right from the beginning, because this is causing so much aggravation and confusion. I mean, I listened to another podcast the other week that they were saying, oh, you're going to get your pinnacle rewards from the expunge, and I was kind of pulling my hair out thinking, no, they've got that wrong, they've read that wrong. It's just, you just can't, it's just confusing to people. So please just get it right from the offset of what you're actually going to tell us. If it comes up that there's a bug or something, understandable. But when you're writing it on a calendar that these expunge missions are going to be pinnacle rewards, surely somebody somewhere along the line is going to go, hang on a minute, that's wrong. The rewards aren't going to come until the 15th of June. It's just a little bit of text.
It's a little bit. I promise.
And it matters.
Words are free.
It does
It's a
matter
little bit
to a
of
lot
text
of
that
people.
matters. Yeah.
Not to me, but I'm just saying that.
Oh,
when
it
I'm
sounds
listening
like it matters to you. It sounds like it's
but
it's been developed into a new pet peeve of yours there, bud.
No. It's because I'm listening to other podcasts and other YouTubers, and they're obviously getting the wrong end of the stick because they are informing their followers and their listeners of the wrong kind of information. I mean, I know we do it as well. We read something and we've informed people of the wrong thing, and the following week we've had to come back and say,
Never
"No, so
happened.
we
Nope.
were wrong."
Never happened.
But it would just be nice that for something as simple as that to say, if it's going to be this, I mean, they obviously know it was going to be that. Somebody knew somewhere along the lines, so surely that should just be translated straight into the calendar. We take a lot from these calendars each month.
Calendars are hard. Maybe one day calendars will be less hard, but they're still hard.
Calendars are not hard, Peroty. Don't you make your whole living on calendars, dude?
Dude, calendars are hard. The system we use at work for calendaring, they just released their new and updated calendar. Calendars are hard. I thought calendars weren't so hard in the year of our internet 2021, but man, no, calendars have gotten hard again.
Oh, have they?
Especially recurrences, trying to change recurring instances of meetings. Yeah, no, calendars are hard now.
But remember, you don't ask questions until 2027.
Correct. 2027 is when we ask why. No whys until 2027.
Exactly.
No whys
You
until
can
2027.
complain before then, but you can't ask why until 2027. That's the
What
year.
happens if one does ask why before 2027?
Well, then the response you get is, "I'm sorry, I'll address that in 2027."
Oh, that's it. No punitive measures will be enacted.
No. You just don't get what you asked for. That's all.
Ah, okay.
You just get a no from me, dog.
Okay.
So Hotfix 3.2.0.3 is out. As discussed, a much more British and grumpy person than I have, who, although was much more eloquent and can read English language, told you about all those changes last week.
Which is why I asked her to come in, But I didn't realise, and I must apologise.
I thought you just wanted me to read a story. Yes,
I did not realise that the TWAB was going to be this epic mammoth read.
Right.
I thought it would be just like a regular TWAB.
You were expecting this week's TWAB.
Yes.
This week's TWAB would have been is what you were, and honestly, what I was sort of expecting too is,
and that's how I
Iron
sold
Banner,
it to her.
fashion show, and that's it.
I showed her an example and said, it's just going to be something like this. She was like, I can read that. And then we had the blog from the raid team. We had the stasis changes. It was like, oh, okay.
And this, I should say that this is Nitedemons' dedication to you, dear listener. He could have very easily been like, listen, this is not the week to take my own life into peril by having my my dear sweet Deacon read all of this to you and cover all the information for the sake of my own sanity. But no, listener, he gave you everything you could ever want and more at great risk to himself. So you should appreciate the work he does for you.
Hey,
He
gentlemen.
does it here for you.
It has just been brought to my attention that my mom realized that she had forgotten something. So I have to cut the show even shorter than what I wanted to, and we have to dip
No,
out.
no, sir.
No.
No, I need to address something with you
What?
before you disappear.
What?
I want to know more about this character respawn.
Yeah, please do.
Why?
I was very interested to learn you've been pulling a Stephen Colbert on us the whole time.
What? I don't even know who that is. No,
And,
I mean,
and this
look,
thing that where you
Wait,
apparently
really?
purposely don't read the 12.
Yep. Okay, so first of all, the purposefully thing, I have told you guys myself many times that I do that intentionally. So that is not a surprise to the two
No,
of you.
I don't
at a
think. No,
minimum.
I don't
Oh.
think purposely. It isn't a word that should be used. You don't read the 12. You don't follow any information
I do.
unless it's in a Rick Kakis video. It's not information that gets reiterated back on the show.
First of all, Rick Kakis is the least YouTuber that I watch. If you would have said Ask the Cross, I might have given you credit for that. If you'd have
No,
said
Kakis
Fallout,
is the one.
I could have given you
Kakis
credit
was
for
your
that.
boy.
Hell, if you'd have even said Jez, I'd have given you credit for that. But Rick Kakis? Really?
You love a Kakis.
That's the string you decided to pull on? Nah.
No, come on. So tell us more about this character
Yeah.
respawn.
Yeah.
We want to know more.
I mean, if you want to listen to about the character Respawn, then my friends over at the Guardian Downcast can tell you all about it.
Good plug.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, it's everybody who has met me off of the podcast in game knows that the character is way worse, right? Like I play the comic relief intentionally, right? And then Peroty is my wingman. He puts it up there, and
Don't
then
use parody in this
okay.
scenario.
No,
We're
no.
talking you.
Yeah,
talking about the character of you.
Peroty works well with that character, right?
There is no respawn without me. That's
Exactly.
really what he's saying.
Yeah, we are.
Well, that's exactly what happened last week. There was no respawn without you.
There was no him, so therefore there had to be a respawn.
Yeah. Parody takes a holiday, and that's it. There's no respawn.
Right.
Yeah.
But no,
I mean, you
yeah.
haven't ever seen us in the same place at the same time together. We could be
That's
the same
accurate.
person.
We could be. You know, we don't
No,
even
that's
know
you
if
and
this
Pan.
is live.
You don't know.
No, that's you and Houndish.
Yeah. You're
Yeah,
Houndish.
Pan.
I'm also Panoramix 18. We're the same person.
Right.
That's just how it is. That's the rules.
But yeah, if you want to hear the details, like I said, the Guardian Downcast, real good guys, real good show. Check him out. Other than that, I'm gonna have to give you guys a deuces and then bounce out.
Okay.
Now, is this you or the character of you? Are both of you leaving?
Yeah.
Do I have
both
to leave if you
leaving.
leave? How does this work? I'm
No,
confused.
Do I have to get
without a
Deacon back in
parody,
here to
there's
finish
no
the podcast?
respawn. Nobody said that there couldn't be a respawn or a parody without a respawn. What did I just say?
I've no idea. Nobody knows what you're saying.
So
It's
who-
definitely time to go. You
who's on
guys have a
first?
great show, and I'll talk to you when I get a chance. Later, guys.
Bye. Jeez. So, what weekly known issues do we have this week for Deacon to say why are you still playing the game?
I really just want a clip of her every single time we get a known issues. Just say, why do you still play if there's so many issues? Because I was rolling last week. So apparently the PlayStation 5, if you're one of like 3 people in Hazel to own a PlayStation 5, there's some Beagle errors. So I guess a dog
this
a
is the
dog
beaver and
comes
the
in
eagle.
and-
Yeah.
yeah, I guess a
the
dog
beaver and
comes
the
in.
eagle have a baby, and it's a beagle.
Yeah,
That
so,
one
so,
again.
so the Beagle just comes in, like, sits on your PlayStation, I guess, so you can't get to it to turn it on. So Bungie's looking into getting some sort of dog catcher to make that happen. Apparently, if you move your Destiny 2 installation from an external SSD back to your PS5, it may temporarily alleviate this issue. Doesn't sound very sure, but they're like, it sounds like it worked for me kind of situation, so it's worth a try.
I think that's just very close to. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Very close. It's at least a cousin of that.
Mm.
If you've got your Exile Trials armor, you can't display Solstice glows from the Universal Ornaments. Can't do it. Sorry.
That teaches you to go flawless.
Gravity cannons can kill players and expunge when walking up to them from behind.
Oh yes, I found that this week. I was trying to do solo flawless,
I
and
was just gonna say.
I got to the gravity cannon at the boss. I'd managed to sword fly to the boss without dying all that way,
Oh, no.
and I walked up
Oh,
behind
no.
the thing, and it killed me. And I was like,
Oh no!
"What just happened? How have I died? There's no reason why I've just died. I've just walked to the cannon."
You've been killed, sir, by the architects.
Oh, hey, this shortcut. I'd rather jump to those stupid platforms that are disappearing and take my chances.
That's the safer way to go, it turns out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. Hilarious for me, but terrible for you. This one I really enjoy. Some players are having load, resulting in them and their weapon being somewhat invisible in activities. Which players? Which issues? Some of them.
Yeah.
If you're hoping to get your stat tracker for the fastest expunge completion time, your timer gets reset on your tracker for each completion.
So just do it once and no more.
Yeah, do it once and be like, no, we're good here. Sentinel Titans can use up charge with light stacks when they throw a shield when their super is half full, while they have the energy converter mod equipped. So if you've
Is
ever
that
played
an
with,
issue or is that a good thing?
they say it's a known issue. I wouldn't know. I love my Sentinel Titan, but I still have yet to ever play with charge with light. So we report, you decide, kind of thing. And as always, there's a full list of issues in the known issues article, like the golden gun not working. Again, tell Bungie about things, and they will fix the things. Because that's what they'll do. They don't hate you because you're hunters. They hate you because you're loud, and obnoxious, and don't tell them things. Just scream at them. That's why they don't fix things. Don't tell Respawn though. And there's been some thick dancing and some eating of Antheon this week. There's a prophecy roller coaster. There's some good movies as well. Although I have to say the Antheon tap dance art of the week animation is just kind of beautiful, with a golden gun hunter and it's arc, so I can't tell if it's meant to be a Thunder Crash Titan or if it's, I was thinking it was a Nova Bomb at first, but I'm guessing Thunder Crash Titan, and Antheon just dancing back and forth, and it's just wonderful.
Antheon.
And then at the very end, if you scroll all the way to the end of the TWAB, past the art, past the movies, past all the information, the Iron Banner, the weekly raid challenges, the Vault Glass difficulty, all the things, we got one single teaser screenshot. It says that was a quick tease. We're eager to show you more about the Witch Queen. Expect to hear from us with details later in the summer. We have some awesome content to play between now and then. See you out there in the wild. DMG04. And single screenshot in a lush green environment, which
It looks like there's a building behind in the blurred background.
yeah, could be a building behind there. I've heard people talk about, we'll if you want to be completely ignorant and whatever, I mean, not that these are spoilers, but they're at least, I don't know, theoretical spoilers, or I don't know. I'll just say, if you want to go and Respawn character like and be completely ignorant to everything going on, skip ahead a little bit. But people have said this is old Chicago, possibly, because it's a lush green environment. There was a bunch of artwork from old Chicago, like concept art, way back in the worlds of Destiny 1. People had talked about, around that same time, there was Europa artwork that, obviously Bungie held on to all through D1 into D2, and then gave us a Europa recently. So they're saying could be old Chicago is where we're headed next, and this could be part of it from there. People have said also, hey, it could be Venus because it's, lush and green, but Bungie has said we're not bringing Venus back to you. At least not as a full planet, and it seems silly to bring it back as a partial part. So, yeah, could be going to old Chicago. And I know there were a couple of instances mentioned in the lore recently about old, or maybe not recently, but at least, on different things about referencing old Chicago. I was just looking for Paul Tassie's article that I threw into our chat, because he had mentioned a couple of things where it was, people had specifically mentioned old Chicago in the lore. So it could be this, or we could be all completely wrong and we're going somewhere completely different.
I mean, I know it's nice that Bungie are drawing on what they've already kind of put out there as concepts for and what they initially thought for Destiny 1 to be, with all these various different places. And as we kind of progressed towards the end of Destiny 1, there was a lot of talk of, can we move past our own, universe, our own little galaxy here? Is there any way that, Destiny would move further out, explore other galaxies, other planets further and farther out? But it just seems strange that we're sticking close to Earth again if it is going to be old Chicago. I mean, it's nice that we're getting somewhere new, but I thought there was a lot of clamoring in the community to explore outside our own universe. Do you remember that? There was a lot of, we've explored our universe. We've gone as far as Saturn and with the kind of the dreadnought, but people wanted to explore what's further out. What are the home worlds for these other races that we are fighting now? And we don't seem to have kind of progressed any further than just sticking in our own backyard.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I remember people talking about that, and yeah, it would be. That's what I was sort of wondering, hoping maybe with the, the pyramid ships in the darkness. It's like, well, clearly they're coming from somewhere, and maybe this is, maybe this is where the Witch Queen and beyond is taking us. Is, we've sort of been on the defensive and defending against these attacks and moves against sort of our home solar system, our home planet. Maybe at some point this is where we start taking the fight to them, and we start entering throne worlds, and we start going into other places, completely alien environments, to see where that takes us. Because everywhere we've been has been it's sort of a like familiar looking humanish world with the planets we have. I'd be curious to see if we do go to go to the Darkness Realm, or go where the Nine hang out, and see what some of those environments look like, and just see what that might be. And it's I'm enjoying like the season with the expunge mission and the sort of getting into the Vex network, because it's sort of like one of the other than the Vault. I'm sure there's others that I've forgotten about, but this is sort of one big like longer walk sort of through like another, like sort of going into or in Crota we're in the throne world for there briefly, and we go in, and we've sort of dipped a toe into throne worlds here and there fighting Hive, and we're actually going into the Vex network now, and we've been in the Volta Glass, and it's been neat to be in these other environments. So I'd love to see sort of what more what those planets will look like. It's like the Cabal, they're a race of big hamsters. I imagine their world looking, it's a world, not structurally all that different. The Vex obviously being a totally different thing. Just Bungie, please don't give us any like underwater mission swimming nonsense in Vex milk. Just no, don't do that.
I suppose it kind of does make sense with the way the stories have kind of led from Destiny 1 into Destiny 2, and we've got to kind of, as Bungie put it, tie up this kind of light saga. So maybe that's what we're kind of doing. We're sticking to the home worlds at the moment, what's in our atmosphere, what's in our kind of solar system. And then maybe after Lightfall is then when we get to go out into the universe. Maybe the Traveller moves on, and that is why it's Lightfall, and we have to then explore further out or go after the Traveller, much like the Fallen did, that they chased down the Traveller. Maybe we don't have our light, as we've put it. We've only got the darkness to rely on, which can still kind of bring us back from the brink, maybe. I think that's what they're kind of going to do at the moment, is kind of stick to tying up the stories. And as Savathun is technically here, there's a lot to kind of cover with our own solar system and how we're being attacked. Like you said, with the Vex networks, the throne world, it's all here where we are now. And I suppose maybe as we get towards the end of the Witch Queen into Lightfall and whatever they develop, I think they were going to develop something after that or before that, weren't they, to kind of push it out another year. I think that's kind of then maybe lead us off into other universes, other solar systems, which would be quite nice to not get away as such. I mean, hopefully we'll still have a tower to come back to, or a home something. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. And what was actually quite interesting, we did get a question from Riley Lane Turner over on, I think it was on our Instagram or Facebook account, saying that he wanted to pick our brains on what we think the next major DLC would have in store for us. So what do you think, Peroty?
Next major DLC that we've heard of or that we've not heard of? Because I think obviously we're coming to the end of our light saga and we're fighting. We're I assume we're going to fight Savathun at some point. And not to derail a little bit, but I just want to mention it's the Wild Hunt vest and the Pyrrhic Ascent boots that mention Old Chicago, and sort of going, just talking about that. The Wild Hunt vest says we tracked the thing all the way to the ruins of Old Chicago, down into the tombs. We weren't hunting it; it was luring us. Aisha, human hunter. So I think that's again just tying into we're going to have some kind of encounter with Savathun, and just for the sake of argument, we'll say that happens in Old Chicago. Once that happens, I always need to go back and look at the roadmap and see, okay, well, if that's happening there, we've got Beyond the Light, we've got the Witch Queen, which I assume is Savathun, relating to Savathun being the Witch Queen, and this is again where I try to keep up, but my brain just sort of wanders sometimes when we're talking about the lore and all these different characters. I really just need like a big compendium of who everybody is and how they interconnect sometimes. But I think it's we're gonna have that big showdown. Something's gonna come of that. There's gonna be some sort of maybe it is like a Pyrrhic victory, with these the Pyrrhic Ascent boots. Maybe it's this Pyrrhic victory where we win, but we win at such a cost, and that's sort of what a Pyrrhic victory is. It's like you've won, but you've endured such a crushing cost to make that win. It's like you won, but it almost would have been better if you lost. Almost.
Yeah. I think we want repercussions, don't we? Technically we'd like repercussions for what avenues we pick, but I think deep down, like we had with where we could pick either the Drifter or the Vanguard previously in Destiny 2. I think some people like to run both sides just to see both sides of the story. They don't want to kind of really commit. But I think it would be interesting if we were forced that we had to commit to something that then changed the kind of the outcome of the game further down the line. I think that would be really interesting. As far as kind of, sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, so you're with Hazel from Guardian Downcast saying, you want consequences. And I'm sort of there with you. I sort of want there to be.
I think I don't. Yeah,
No.
I like to play it safe, but I think I think the game to evolve, it has to be something like that.
Yeah. I like to play it safe. I sort of want there to be some consequences. Maybe you throw in with Savathun, or you throw in with the Traveler. Maybe you not to say that there's like a permanent, because again it's like, and Bungie said time and time again, like they don't want to make a rift. They don't want to have be like truly like player factions. They want to bring us all together, not pit us against each other. But I think it would be interesting, at least maybe for a season or for a time, there to be sort of this rift where you either choose one path or the other, go down that path or the other path, and that's sort of at least for that season or that activity or that something, that's sort of the path you take. But yeah,
I think it would be interesting to bring back the Dreadnought in maybe the next major DLC with like the Witch Queen. So it is a playable space. We can go back there, but maybe there are, it was a vast space to use. So maybe there's a lot of changes. I mean, like we've had with the Cosmodrome, there could be areas that we can't reach anymore that we could have reached before. But then if they brought the raid back for that, Kingsfall, but then had like an alternate version of Oryx, and you don't necessarily need the same enemies that we fought in that encounter. They could be variations on that, like we've had with like when we returned to the moon, we had those like shadowy versions of Oryx. We had the shadowy versions of those other enemies that were kind of red, kind of taken-fied. Maybe a version of Kingsfall that incorporates that because of the way the story has progressed. So we're not fighting the same way that we kind of have been in the Vault of Glass. I'd like to kind of see a little bit of a change. Maybe you don't go the same way that you did before in the raid. Like I said with the Vault of Glass, I think I'd like, oh well, we used to go that way, but now maybe you have to go over to where the basketball court was. That really tricky area to get over on that kind of jumping puzzle up the wall, and maybe doing the basketball thing opens up another area that you then go and fight something else. That would be quite interesting to kind of see them kind of turn it on their heads and not just go, oh well, this is that raid, but we've put wyverns in there, kind of thing. I mean, I appreciate that. I mean, the Vault of Glass, it's really nice to play, and it's really nostalgic to be back there and get those weapons. And most of the mechanics are the same. You know, there's a few tweaks here and there, which is nice for old players that have played Vault of Glass and have those memories of, oh, that chest was there, or we used to do it like this, but now we kind of have to do it like this. But it's kind of that adaptation. But I'd like to see those raids that are coming back, even if they are putting them in there as legends, to kind of change and fit in with the story. I mean, there could have been a whole reason why the Vault of Glass had come back, which would have tied in to the story, which I could have completely understood with, with these expunge missions and the Vex network, and maybe it tying to the fact that they're trying to do this and that. So there could have been some kind of an explanation and a little bit more of a tie-in, rather than we're just going to bring back that raid and it's going to be in the Legends tab. So I think with next major DLCs, I think it's nice to have, like we had with Europa, going somewhere new and have somewhere kind of familiar to go back to as well with the Dreadnought.
Yeah, I'm definitely of two minds about bringing the content back. I think when I hear about it, I think, oh, I'm so excited. They're gonna bring it back. It's gonna be really fun. And now when it's here, it's like, I think I've gone to the Cosmodrome like twice as required. Vault of Glass, I'm excited to walk back into because it's a raid. More so than, oh, it was here before. It's like, it's a raid. I've played it enough to know it well. Like I'm excited to play that again. But even then, it's just that I'm going to sort of be limited by my enjoyment of that by the fact that it's a raid. You can't just walk into it and roam around like you could the Cosmodrome. But yeah, I mean they're absolutely killing it with the story, and I'm really enjoying where the narrative is taking us. And I sort of feel like I want there to be gameplay to help support that narrative. There to be, yeah, and I don't know if it's the stakes I want, if it's the consequences, but I don't know. But yeah, I'm really excited to see where we go past this encounter, past the Witch Queen, past this big fight with this, the big bad we've heard about forever now, and then hopefully get out past our solar system. We've played the defense long enough. We've suffered some loss. Now let's go on offense. Now let's go out and sort of take the fight to them, kind of thing, and see who else we meet along the way. What other friends, foes. That's always my favorite part in the show. Like Stargate, the series, is one of my favorite TV shows, and it's always fun when it's like, okay, you've gotten past sort of like the first hurdle. You found your way out in the world. You've established a little base camp. Now let's go see who's out there. Oh my God, we ran into this huge enemy. Oh, and there's this ally that we never knew existed. It comes in, and it's like those moments of you meet that new alien race, or you meet that new character, and it's like, oh, you're here to help, or you've been watching us for a time, and to sort of get a feel, are we good or bad, or could we be an ally? Now's the time to come in and meet and form this alliance and see where that takes us. It's like those moments in TV movies I love. So I'm sort of hoping, sort of like, again, we've been working with Mithrax, we've worked with
Keitel.
Keitel. Working with the spider, sort of, kinda. I like where this is going, and in forming some of these alliances to see where that takes us. Again, I'd love to see a playable Fallen, playable Vex. I love to be able to to take that role in this alliance at some point down the road. So just sort of like with you, just I want to see what's out there in the world. I want to get out past our little solar system and see what other enemies and friends await us.
Yeah, I think it would also be really interesting that with the Witch Queen, that it was all fitting in with Savathun, that it's all a complete trick. The whole year is a complete farce, to the point that we think that we've won, but then at the end of it, it's you haven't won anything. It was all a complete ruse. You've been tricked into something. You've fallen down this path of, now it's Lightfall, and that's when she becomes like the true villain of the whole piece. And that there's greater consequences with the whole arc of it. So
Yeah.
this whole Witch Queen thing, we think that she's going to be the big bad. We're going to beat her like we did with Oryx, and it's going to be over and done with. And then like the darkness is going to come along, and that's going to be Lightfall. I would like it to kind of be this whole complete ruse that we're kind of led down this path of this happens, that happens, and it's all just been meticulously planned by her, and then Lightfall, and that's when she becomes the true villain, or the one that's orchestrated everything, even maybe down to the point of getting us to fight Oryx, getting us to fight Crota, taking out the Vex, siding with the Cabal, aligning with Mithrax. It's all been great, a great part of her plan. I mean, we've seen some of that with what's been going on with the tower, with that shotgun, people humming the tune, singing songs, Crow in the helm. And I think it must have been Mylan Games. He was on DCP this week, was saying that the reason why people are kind of humming the tune or singing the song is because they're near like an artifact of Savathun. So much like Shax was with the Ahamkara skull above him, that's why he was kind of singing that or humming that tune. The Crow's got nothing around him, so who is it that's near him that's kind of influencing him or he's hearing that song, which was quite interesting. And I think Paul Tassie's done a video on it as well. There's a whole theory of various different characters that it could be, but maybe Savathun is already walking among us, which I found quite interesting.
Yeah.
Or a version of her. I mean, again, we know hardly anything about this character apart from what we've kind of heard in the lore.
Yeah, that's what I find so interesting. So we've heard about Savathun, and we've heard Savathun's song and fought the worm of Savathun, and fought all these of Savathuns have been I would say I can't remember all the characters who have been like something Savathun. It's like we've seen sort of the minions or the workings behind the table. It's like Savathun, the mob boss, sitting back there shots and just sending henchmen out after us over and over again. But we've never really encountered Savathun, and I almost wonder if we will, or if it's like you said, it's going to be all one trick. But now you got me again of the Lightfall. It's something sort of along the lines of the Pyrrhic victory. It may be something we do to ourselves. Say, oh well, the only way to stop the Traveler from falling into Savathun's hands is to destroy the Traveler or to send the Traveler away, and it's something that Guardians orchestrate. And that's sort of what causes the next step to happen, whether it be I don't know. I'm really interested. I really want to see where this goes. I think Savathun is such an interesting force. I can't even say like person or thing, but just force. I think it's really cool.
Comparing her to Oryx, I think she's the grander one. As Arthur said, she's the one that's been pulling the strings behind the curtains of maybe that's the reason why we kind of had to take Oryx out. We've had to take Crota out because these have kind of had consequences and maybe empowered her even more.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we're going down a big rabbit hole with this.
We are, and I definitely is like, I just know anything I say because it'll just be like, no, that's wrong. You're confusing that person. That's not who you're thinking of at all. But yeah, there's just so much. There's so much to Savathun there. And the way their storytelling has been going this season, the last season, I'm really excited about the story they're telling. So I've got high hopes for what this encounter is going to look like and where we go from there. Yeah. So there's a nice long-winded answer to your question. In there, I assume there was an answer. You just have to find it.
Yeah. So continuing with our questions and our feedback, because we had quite a bit especially from last week's guest. We've got many comments in our Discord complimenting Deacon on her way that she handled the TWAB and how much partners related to her. But a couple that I've kind of pulled from like Instagram and Facebook. We had Gregory Kendall Just wanted to let you guys know that you have a great podcast. I listen to all the best D2, and you guys are really informative. Keep up the good work. So I said, thank you. I will pass your feedback on to the team. Take a drink.
Fitting.
Indeed.
Antheon.
We had a message from Dennis. Yo, this was the best, most hilarious episode I've ever listened to for any Destiny podcast. Y'all need to have her on at least once a month. Love it. See, if we have her on once a month, she'll probably end up taking over. And you don't want that. Because
I
it'll just
I
be,
think she's already
you
taken.
guys don't need to play this game. You all need to go and get a life. Which
Mhm.
I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what you'll be told.
Mhm.
Maybe once a year. Maybe when I can't come on, we'll just, let her in and harass these two around for a good couple of hours and get into some arguments.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have a show at that point. It would just be her and
No.
Respawn screaming at each other.
Yeah.
And there's, I'm not officiating that fight, by the way.
No, you'll be dragged into it, kicking and screaming. Jeff also said, listening to the podcast right now, and your wife sounds just like mine. Matthew Thomas, firstly, I'd just like to let you guys know that I really appreciate what you do. You're bothered every week to get up, look at what is going on, and record yourselves telling us, the faithful listeners. Secondly, I love the comical relationships you guys have, and obviously Respawn shoutiness. You guys have helped me and my friend group so much with Destiny 2 tips. Tomorrow I'm going to attempt the Vault of Glass, my first raid. Just want to let you guys know that I appreciate what you do. Many thanks, Matty. So good luck with that. Hope you kind of managed to kind of get over that hurdle.
Yeah, good luck on the Vault of Glass. I and Nitedemon and many people in our friend group have spent many hours in D1 on Vault of Glass, failing over and over again. So it's raids are always fun, like Respawn said, and we've all said. It's fun with the group you go in with. Go in, have a good time, and win, fail, draw. I guess if you could draw, just have fun with it. And yeah, maybe you'll get something out of it. Maybe you'll be the guy who gets, the Vex Mythic Glass drop the first run through. Maybe it'll be 3 years and you'll never see it, because that's the beauty of Destiny. It does what it wants, and just have a good time.
And I think if you can get past oracles as a group without pulling each other's hairs out, it just, I kind of, that's the testament. I think trying to all kind of, right, I've got this oracle, you've got that oracle, and then calling out who's got 1, 2, 3, and 4, and if somebody's missed it, trying to grab it, or somebody's gone down. I think that was one of the most confusing and frustrating parts of this new version, is that you will have to actually be down there shooting the oracles rather than just being up on a ledge and sniping them from afar. So yeah, it's that whole confusion there of running around and trying to control the ads, although there's not that many at the moment. I found that the hardest one at the moment to kind of get through. The Templar bit and the Gatekeeper and even Antheon, to some extent, once you kind of learnt those call-outs for those oracles, front, back, middle, right and left, it's a walk in the park. It's just trying to control all of those ads and shoot your oracles at the same time is a bit more of a kind of test for the team, I think.
Yeah, there's always those moments where you, and I know for me, especially with some of the harder mechanics, it takes me sometimes a little while to really understand what is going on and where all the pieces are. But that moment where it just clicks, and either like the right person explains it to you, or you just do it enough times, and sometimes just or you've been beating your head against the wall with this particular strat for 2 hours, and all of a sudden someone's like, "What if we try it this way? What if we do this?" And like you get it done the first time, and you're just like, "Mother God, dang it!" And you're like, "Okay, did we do it the first time because we've hit our head against the wall for 2 hours, or should we have just done this from the get go and been fine with it?" But yeah, just that moment when it clicks is so beautiful, though.
And you guys that have never played the Destiny 1 version will never really appreciate rally banners, because the amount of times we had to sit and wait on a ledge for somebody to get their super before we then attempted to do it, for us to then fail within 5 seconds, to then sit there and wait for them to change their armor up so they got more intellect to build up their super faster than 5 minutes, and then try again. It's amazing to have those rally barricades, because you can just get back into the fight there and then.
Oh, the amount of times you would pop your heavy ammo synth and then blow through your heavy, and then fail immediately. Okay, All right,
Oh, yeah,
he's
the
got to wait
ammo
for a
synths.
super. He needs to pop another, because the synths were on a timeout. I can't remember what they were, but you could only
Yeah.
pop one every couple
2
minutes or
minutes.
something.
Yeah.
Something like, yeah. So it's like, all right, yeah. The amount of time I spent, listening to my friends smoke, or going
Yeah.
for a drink, or getting a drink myself, or it built in a lot of good bathroom run time, but the amount of time you actually played versus waiting to play, so many hours, so many good
And
hours.
a couple of things that I did learn from doing the Vault Glass this week, that there doesn't seem to be any teams that are calling out for stasis players, which is nice. That you can run in there with your light subclasses, and Titans with Ballistic Slam with the chest piece that is the Curious of Falling Stars
Yep.
has been really good at Atheon. I was doing stupid amounts of damage, kind of coming out, as soon as we got the buff, slamming him, jumping back to the middle, and getting another super really quickly, because I think you kind of generate a super stupid fast when you've got the shield up, so you can kind of get 2 of those ballistic slams off, plus using xenophage, because I didn't use a sniper respawn, and grenade launchers and other things. That has been really good, that you can kind of sometimes you need a bubble, sometimes you need, I was even using roaring flames. I was using like hammer titans, which was quite nice to kind of destroy some of the enemies when we were doing the oracles. And it was just nice to see light subclasses be more dominant in the Vault of Glass than asking for, we need you all to run stasis. I've seen a lot of
Mhm.
LFG groups all running like all void or solar, but it's nice that the light subclasses are the ones that are being used more in Vault of Glass. I found that quite nice. And I think I highlighted it last week or the week before. There is a shader that you can get from doing the Vault of Glass and going around and collecting these crystals, and there are 12 of them to collect. I think it's called Bitter Pearl. It's a white shader basically, so it replaces any of the white shaders that you didn't get from like Trials of the Nine, because there were some really nice white shaders that came with that. If you didn't get that, you can get this Bitter Pearl, which is like what was the armor that we
Chatter,
had in
the Chatter White
Castle
from
White? That was it.
P1. Yeah, those just like
Yeah,
white armor head to toe.
yeah. That you can. That was the one from Vault of Glass, wasn't it? The first time.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
how does Bitter Pearl stack up? Or I guess I should say, do you have it?
I do have it. Yes,
And
because
how does it stack up to Chatter White? Can you be just a white sheet of paper, a bottle of whiteout, head to toe?
yeah, it's got a bit of a sheen to it, so it's a little bit shiny on some armor points. So yeah, it's quite nice. But what I found was I mean, I followed the Datto guide, and there are a few like outside the Vault of Glass when you kind of in that first area, so you could literally fly there and pick those up, and it's not like you have to collect them all in one run as well, which was quite nice. So what I found was that we were, I think we were doing oracles. That's it. We got up to oracles, and somebody had to go and take the dog out. And I thought, okay, I'll see if I can go and collect these bitter white crystals. And they were all kind of back in the first area. And the problem was that I was down in the oracle area, and we weren't up on the ledge anymore at that point. So what I found is that using my Titan, I could kind of sword fly across to the rock on the other side, and then use. Actually, no, I didn't do that. Yeah, sorry. I could kind of just jump up on like an area where we were down on the bottom, and then missile fly to the ledge that you kind of jumped down from, and then I could retrace my steps back through both paths. I could go through the secret path that was down underneath that you can kind of travel through to get one of the shards, and then I could go back round the normal way, which was the original way that everybody came down to that encounter, and pick up the other shards. And then you could actually go back up to the door of the Vault of Glass. It would open, it'd do all the dung 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 and open up again, and then you could go outside and explore the other areas. So I picked up all of the shards while I was waiting for this guy to go and take his dog for a walk. Then when we completed the Templar encounter, I was then able to then go through the Gorgon's maze part and go and get the crystals from that. I then had to leave at that point because it was getting too late for me. But what I found was that I could then go back solo as long as I had the Gorgon's checkpoint, and then get back through. Do you remember there was a hidden chest up in one of the rock caverns that you could get to via the Gorgons, wasn't there? You could either drop down to it, or you could go follow the secret path
Yes,
round.
yes.
Well, you can still get to that path, which was quite nice. So if you manage to go back up into the wall, follow the path round, it kind of takes you to this. There was an old Vex door, and in there was I think it was a spirit bloom chest. Now, what I found was that I could then jump up on the rocks at the side and then go up on top of this door, and then missile fly through this tiny little gap. It took me a couple of attempts to then go back through the secret way, so I could then potentially go back round and find where this other I missed it coming down the first time this other shard was. But I found that you could retrace your steps as long as you had the Gorgon checkpoint to go back to where you needed to collect all the crystals, to then go back through the Gorgon maze to come out the other side to the jumping puzzle to collect the last few. So you could literally collect the whole lot from just having the Gorgon's checkpoint without actually having to do the raid. You could just collect all these shards, and it's just an unlock from doing one of the triumphs. So once you've unlocked it, go on the triumph and then click it, and it gives you the shader. So you don't even need a raid completion, which is quite funny. And there are also 4 hidden chests as well, which you can also unlock and get to as well. The one in the Gorgon one was quite hard because you have to shoot like these little Vex cubes up in the air. So it's kind of a lot of sneaking around and kind of trying to find those. But they're in the Datto video as well, which I kind of found. But that was for a separate triumph.
Nice. Yeah. Have you been able to get close enough to the Whisper of the Worm portal to see if you can look through it, or if it's
I didn't.
if it's
No,
on?
I didn't go over there. No, I didn't go. I haven't. I thought, yeah, I could actually. I've got that checkpoint now. I could go back over and have a quick check.
I know you talked about, and obviously, with other people, you're not going to be like, hold on, let me take a sidetrack over here to go do this. But I wasn't sure if you'd had time to go exploring it.
Ooh. And I think something, as we're kind of on a bit of an information thing here, I just wanted to point out, or I think it was AZ, wasn't it, in our Discord chat? Just wanted to point out that he wasn't aware that when you're doing the lost sectors, the heroic and the legendary lost sectors, that once you kill a champion, it gives you an extra life per champion killed. And maybe a lot of other people weren't aware of this. So I think it's you get 3 lives to start off with, and then if you die, you kind of go down to nothing. But you've got, I think it's 30 minutes, isn't it, in the lost sectors to complete it before the timer runs out. And once you kind of do that, you're in a darkness zone, and no matter how many champions that you've killed beforehand, you can't raise yourself. But before that, the amount of champions that you do kill gives you an extra life, so it kind of helps you if you are struggling to do those encounters.
Yeah, definitely. I ran into that on, I can't remember what the lost sector was. I just kept getting sniped from something or just making stupid mistakes, and was definitely playing that over under game of going, okay, I've got this champions left. Let me see, should I just call this a wipe and start again, or should I keep going? Because yeah, every time you do kills, you get that extra life, which definitely come in handy. One of them I definitely got through on like my last attempt on my last life, like at like 29 minutes and something, going, all right, this is gonna go real bad here in a second if I don't. Yeah, that mechanic I appreciate. And yeah, it's good. That's the reason I mentioned that, when you capture zones in Iron Banner, you get super energy, because I think a lot of people either don't know that or don't care. And yeah, it's a nice way to build your super up super quick without doing much of anything else.
One thing I kind of wanted to quickly touch on with you was there are bounties that you get from doing the stasis quests, aren't there? Well, it's not bounties. I'd say they're part of the quests, aren't they? That you can pick up from the stranger. Let me if I can find one.
Oh yeah, like the fragment quests, the things to do the fragment unlocks. The like where you go pick, do this in Crucible, Vanguard, or Strikes, and go. It'll give you some random stasis based quest.
And what I was thinking is that now we've kind of got to the point of there's been a lot of stasis tuning with the Crucible, that hopefully Bungie adjusts the requirements for the Crucible versions of those, because I've still got those ones at the moment, and I've got one that basically says I have to freeze somebody. Stasis essence collected from chance to drop from defeating frozen guardians. Now it's a lot harder to freeze guardians in Crucible. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but it's one of those things I think maybe that they need to look at slightly of if they've adjusted it in PvP, then maybe you need to adjust those kind of the way they're putting those bounties for those fragments or whatever they are.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah,
remember what they're
no,
called
yeah,
now.
yeah. They're the ones, yeah, that come from whatever. It's like
Yeah,
I've got the
fragments. Yeah,
yeah, I've got like the Umbral quest and the Umbral strife right now, and yeah, the Umbral conquest for me is, and I know they're random to a point. I don't know if like everyone's Umbral conquest will be the same thing. Mine was get 8 fusion rifle final blows in Crucible, collect 6 crystalline formations, and then kill combatants frozen and defeated. Kill 5 people by freezing them and defeating them. It's like that's taking me forever because I can either do one or the other, or I'm missing part of it, or yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. The stasis final blows and the freeze somebody and defeat them thing. I don't know why I picked them up for Crucible. I had high hopes, and I'm hoping it with Iron Banner this week stasis until I manage to do it. But I've more or less gone back to my Void Titan. Really, it's like stasis I enjoyed for a while as a novelty. Kind of like it's fine. It's not even and I've kept track of the nerfs and buffs and whatever and the changes, but I'm just like I still feel like a drunken toddler running around with the Titan in the super. I just still quite don't feel like I know what I'm doing with it. So I'd much rather just either launch myself at you as Arc or throw Void Shields at you, because that at least I understand. But yeah, I agree with you. Those need to be tuned a little bit at least. At least the PvP ones, because they're time consuming. I've had those for a while.
yeah. I mean, I think some of the hardest thing is to kind of kill a frozen target if you find it hard to kill. If you find it hard to kind of freeze a target to start off with, because you need to put on the right grenade or time your super to get to that point. Because there have been many times that I've frozen people with my Glacial Quake and then punch them out of it while they're frozen, and it doesn't seem to count. It just seems to be a random chance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and that's one of those. I'm like, is it a bug? Am I doing it wrong, or am I not interpreting your wording properly? Which it could be all of those things.
Mm. Something else I want to kind of point out is that the Harbinger missions, you remember these were kind of changed, weren't they? Because there was
Sure.
an issue with collecting all the feathers. So this was back for Season of the Hunt. The part of the exotic quest to get the Hawk Moon was, let me just find it.
To go do it at all, which I still to this day have not set foot into.
Oh, that was it. There was a triumph called Light Seeker, which was in the activity Harbinger, find all of the feathers of light in a single week. Now, a lot of people had done this, and then it didn't seem to track that they'd done it, and then they said they'd fixed it, but then they said that it wasn't fixed for weeks 2 and 3 of the Harbinger mission. I went back last week, so this was reset last week. I think actually it was Monday of this week, so it would have been just before the reset. And it turned out that the Harbinger mission was week 1, which was the first week where apparently it's all working fine, and I can confirm I was able to pick up my Lightseeker Triumph and unlock that, so that was pretty cool. So what I wanted to kind of give people the heads up of this week that we're currently in will be week 2. So next week of Iron Banner will be week 3. So after that, so the next podcast that you're listening to, and I'll hopefully try and remind people, will be week 1 again. So if you are missing that triumph of going in and collecting the feathers, they are literally look up a week 1 guide. They're in those specific locations. Not hard to find at all. And hopefully you should be able to find a few teams that are doing it, because it offers a pinnacle reward. I've seen a lot of people on the LFG even on the Xbox doing the Harbinger mission. So hopefully the week after Iron Banner will be week 1 again. So hopefully you should be able to go in and collect that and get that done.
So that should be June 15th, the week starting at June 15th reset to the 22nd. Because Iron Banner is this coming week starting June 8th, so he's talking about the week of June 15th. Because whenever you hear this, it could be this week, next week, 6 years ago. There's no way to know. The internet has no time.
Yes.
All right. Yes. We did Maddie. So we've got William Kiefer, who says, awesome podcast. Been listening to this podcast for a long time, and I normally don't reply to individual podcast episodes, but this past week's show with Deacon 1606 was phenomenal. I laughed from start to finish and enjoyed every minute of it. Although I enjoy everyone on the podcast, Deacon should be a regular. 2 thumbs up. We know who the favorite is. It's none of us. It's
Yeah.
the most British, most competent reading one, Deacon. Clearly, you're just here for Deacon. And then His Highness Prince Rizness. He cannot begin to tell us how freaking-lutely hilarious it was listening to Nitedemon being harassed by his wife. It was probably a struggle, but thank you for doing it anyway, Nitedemon. And he just wants to put out there again, if there's ever a call and need for him to come in and bring his highnessness to the show, he's available at the drop of a hat. And we had 2 reviews from, I'm guessing Apple Podcasts, because that's where the thing shoots them to me periodically. So we got 5 stars from Oscar76321 via Apple Podcasts from the US, saying, I've been playing Destiny since D1, and I've played D2 for 2 years, and I'm sort of bored, and I started listening to your podcast while I was playing, and it was fun. Thanks for the podcast. It is the best. Keep up the good work. And then we got a Apple Podcast review from the Great Britain, from Maddie True DDT. Yeah, we'll call you Maddie because I can't read. He says, you guys have helped me and my friends so much. 5 stars. I love this podcast. It's helped me so much, and I love the comical friendship of the presenters. I love Destiny 2, and I'm grateful for all the times you guys have helped me out. I'll say tuned in. So thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, Riley. Thank you, William. Thank you, Other Matthew. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Gregory. Thank you, everyone who listens and, takes a minute out of their day to shoot us a message somewhere, somehow, that you enjoy us, or more importantly, you enjoy Deacon, because really, she's the star of the show. We're just here to, every 123 episodes, we'll give you Deacon again. That's how it'll work. So in another 123 episodes, we'll bring Deacon back.
And you get more Deacon. Yeah, that's it. But just to kind of clarify, that is just a snippet of my day. As soon as I mention Destiny, that's the amount of abuse that I get on a grander scale. She toned it back for you guys. She really did. But I can't believe that listeners out there want more abuse from her, of her telling you guys out there that why are you still playing this game and why you haven't kind of given up on it. I don't understand that. I know why I put up with it, because I'm married to her, but you guys didn't have to put up with it and constantly request her to come back. So yeah,
they think they know what they want, but do they really? Have they stepped into a war with Deacon 1606? Do they regret it? Did they bring their fire team of 9?
Right. I am flying over to that portal.
There we go. Real-time follow-up. I love it.
Right. We are at the portal. No, there is nothing here at the moment, but that may be because I'd already gone past that point. And there might be something, because I know that you have to stand on the portal for something to do with the Vex Mythic class and shoot some oracles. So potentially, I'm sure I did see in one of the videos that we've kind of highlighted on doing that. I think it was Fallout. It kind of had like a kind of mirror effect on it at the time. So I don't think he looked through it to see what it was, but could possibly be.
Too bad. Well, how's that for some real-time follow-up for you? Love it. So I guess we're getting close to tips, tricks, builds, and guides, unless there's somehow even more.
No, yeah, we can go into some tips, tricks, guides, and builds.
Excellent.
So this week, again, I tried to condense it down, but it still seemed to be like 30 videos that I've kind of watched that I found really interesting. The first one that I wanted to kind of point you in the direction of is Lucky 10p. Now, this isn't the kind of usual tips, tricks kind of guide. It's just a basic warning, really, that I think it was a guy that was playing Trials, was playing against Lucky, and he was using, I think, wall hacks and other kind of things to basically beat Lucky in Trials. And he apparently contacted Lucky and said, no, it wasn't me. I used one of these sites that kind of does account recoveries, and they played on my account. And now this guy has kind of been banned by Bungie for over like 1,500 hours worth of playtime because he used one of these things. So it's more of a public service announcement from Lucky and anybody else, is that don't use these sites. let's face it, you can still play the game and enjoy the game. You don't need to go flawless to enjoy it. You know, if you have thought of it, don't. It's just not worth it, to be honest. And I kind of thought I'd point people in the direction of watching this kind of video of how bad this guy, what's happened to him, to kind of give people a bit of a warning of maybe have second thoughts about doing this.
Yeah, when you don't always know what you're paying for.
Mm.
You're saying, here, random stranger in the world, do this for me. And yeah, I feel sorry for the guy, but you get what you get, unfortunately.
Yeah. So moving on, Fallout Plays did a really cool informative video on heating up and tunnel vision, the two new perks that he finds kind of really interesting to look at because we haven't got that much information about them. And he goes, over what these perks actually do and why you might want them on your weapons. So that's worth a watch. Destiny Fun Police, who mainly uses a Titan, but we've spoken about recently that he does like playing Hunter at the moment. So he's put a build together with the Lucky Pants, which are the exotic boots for the hunters, which when you wear them, basically you can ready your hand cannon quicker and it gives you more precision on aiming. I think that's how it works. Pairs this with the Last Word hand cannon to get some really crispy shots. Basically walking around like Clint Eastwood. I really do appreciate the build and reminding people of how good these two exotics are as a pairing. I think these were like we have had with Thorn and Necrotic Grips recently, a good pairing of what these weapons kind of synergize with each other, and an exotic pairing with it. So the Lucky Pants and the Last Word hand cannon pair really nicely for a hunter to basically be like Clint Eastwood walking around and dealing out some justice. So I found that really interesting, and I thought I'd kind of point people in the direction of that if they wanted to have a look at getting that build together. Another cool build that Destiny Fun Police put together was the Arctic Haze auto rifle. Now, this is the one that you can get from Varix over on Europa. And I think you can do like the farming missions of the Empire hunts, isn't it? That you can pick up a bounty, complete it, and do a certain amount of kills to actually farm for this specific weapon. So this is the Arctic Haze auto
Yeah,
rifle, which
I
is
think they might
solar.
have added it into the. Sorry, I think they might have added it into the world, or the European loot pools. I feel like I've gotten it to drop from either bounties or something as well.
Well, I think you can. I think you can get it from chests. You can get it from other bounties, but you can specifically target if you want to get certain rolls on this.
Yes.
And this is another weapon that he's paired with the new Titan boots, which are the Path of the Burning Steps, and using the Firewalker perk on it. And he was literally shredding people in Crucible. And he basically says it's Stasis Shotgunner's worst nightmare. And this was before the patch. So hopefully this kind of enhances the light-based subclasses a bit more with what they can do. Then another Destiny Fun Police video was the Sonja's Tale. Now, this is the shotgun I recommended that you guys maybe look at a couple of weeks ago that has some really good perks on it that really beefs up the range. Destiny Fun Police has a really cool role that he thinks is a god role. I'm going to stick with these people think they've got god roles. That kind of threat detector is the new quick draw on it. And he shows you, distances for how the threat detector works and how quickly you can pull out a shotgun compared to other shotguns, and why it's probably a good pairing for this shotgun and to look out for it. I mean, saying that, I put something in our band chat because I think who was it the other day was saying something. If I can find it again.
That's the problem with Discord. It's like I saw that thing somewhere, and now I have no recollection of which channel or which Discord even it was in.
Bobby O in our Discord asked about like Destiny Item Manager and what kind of constitutes as a god role. And I'll say the thing that I said to him, to you guys, that Destiny Item Manager, Little Light, YouTubers, etc., can all give you god roll guides. Various different people go on Destiny Item Manager and say this perk's good, and they tick the box to say, this worked out really well for me. But it is basically down to the user that defines what a god roll is. There are great guns and there are amazing perks, but what kind of really synergizes with the weapon is how the player wields that weapon, and it may be a god roll to them, but it may be a complete trash roll to somebody else. And you can only kind of take the advice or see these videos of people using these weapons and go, right, I'll look for that roll or get a similar roll and find that you use that weapon in your own perspective as it's a god roll. And I think that's the kind of the only thing that you can kind of take from that is that it just choose what works for you. Use what's out there, these tools, the Destiny Night Managers, the little lights, the YouTube videos, to create your own roles of what you kind of help you do what you want to do. I think is kind of the best thing. But you were saying something on Destiny Item Manager, weren't you? You replied about something the wish list.
Yeah, I was sort of saying, agreeing with you, but also saying, like Destiny Item Manager, they have sort of like crowdsourced wish list from Panda Paxi and Mercules that is sort of, that they've been building forever, sort of PvE and PvE roles, which it ships with Destiny Item Manager. You can just hit a button and it loads that list sort of into it for you. And it'll tell you, like, if, like the certain weapon you have is either like a god roll or even a good roll in PvE versus PvP, and it'll tell you which perks on the gun are sort of more preferred for PvE or PvP, at least again, as far as like, the community, those folks say, which at least like, if you're like me and just a little more casual going, like, I'm not going to remember what all these perks are or which one is better for which, it's nice to sort of have that as a guide, as a basis of like, okay, this is actually a pretty good gun for this. And I pair that with d2checklist.com, which is one of Blue Screen's favorite places, and he always points me to it when I forget it exists. D2 Checklist, you can log in with your character, and you can look at your armor, your weapons, your everything in there. But it's wonderful because you can say, okay, I've got, 8 rolls of the same weapon. I can hit a button, and it brings all 8 rolls up on my screen right next to each other for me to compare every last perk, everything on it, and show me, which ones are god rolls or good rolls or better rolls. And it has some wonderful filters. One thing that Bobby O liked was the suboptimal perk filter. So you can just say, show me which guns are just garbage. Show me which guns just don't have perks that work to each other, don't have good perks on them. Let me start there. It also has like god rolls or good rolls. Good for this, good for that. So I appreciate sort of the tiers of like good god, god, good, or suboptimal of just the starting point. But I agree with Nitedemon. Like, I have some perks that I absolutely consider god tier for me, but are not god tier for people who write the guides or who consider what a god tier is. So yeah, it's definitely if you look for overload on things, or I'm sorry, if you look for overflow on things because you're like, I just bullets, that's god tier to you. If you're like, I want to keep things with osmosis because it's fun to run things to get that little extra bit of elemental damage, I want to at least be aware of which of these, which hand cannon do I have that has osmosis on it. So if I'm trying to do damage to a shield and a champion, I at least want to know, do I have one of those? So yeah, just sort of pairing, sort of take what some of the listening community says as sort of gospel, at least as a starting point. And then, yeah, just look for the thing you want to look for. Because Dim and Little Light and Ishar and all these can search for, individual perks on the weapon. You can say, what gun do I have with the unrelenting perk? Because I want to go murder a bunch of people and keep my health up. Let me just see what's out there and that I already have and start from there. So yeah, just different ways to approach the same problem of, I have tons of loot. Is it any good?
Carrying on with the guides, we've got a guide from Aztagros who has paired the Sunshot with the Paths of the Burning Steps for the Titans. I feel this is quite Titan heavy this week. I do apologise for that. Using energy accelerant. So this is the mod that you can get from the artifact, which enhances Firefly and other explosive perks. And it works on the Sunshot, which is the only 150 archetype hand cannon of energy, and it's an exotic, if you didn't know. I believe this is a well drop, so it's one of those ones that could. Is it a well drop or is it available in the tower? I'm not entirely sure.
I don't remember. I think it's available in the kiosk because it was one of the faction rally. It was. I'm pretty sure it was one of the faction rally weapons back when those were a thing.
Wasn't this one of the ones that you could pick from the quest? You could pick Riskwalker, Sunshot, or something else, couldn't you? From doing the opening quest in Destiny 2 when we first started. I think it was one of those.
Could be that too. Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay, I'm going to stick with it's a well drop.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a well drop hand cannon, an exotic hand cannon that you could possibly pick up from Errrh if it pops up at Errrh. And it wasn't as much as a PvP weapon to use. Although it did work in PvP, it works really well in PvE encounters. So when you're kind of trying to take out all these trash mobs and make many, many explosions, you could kind of build this into war mine cells with the explosions having triggers for other explosions further on with the war mine build. So this was one to kind of look out for in PvE. Something else that they've kind of found in game that has had a knock on effect with the energy accelerant mod. I believe it's the energy accelerant mod. Yes. Is the crown splitter is doing the best damage in the game right now. And this is the Titan exclusive sword that you can get. I believe it's just a world drop from like strikes and nightfalls and things. Is that right? Have you had this crown splitter to drop? I've had a couple, but I can't remember where I got them from.
Yeah, it was either strikes or nightfalls. I did get one to drop. So it is, yeah, it's just a end game reward for one of those.
And I think they found that the energy accelerant mod is enhancing how much damage this can output. And Asacross put a really good video together on why you might want to use this over the Lament, which is the exotic sword, which could kind of deal out high amounts of damage. So go check that out.
So yeah, the crown splitter can drop from legendary engrams that are earned as a random world drop, or from earning faction packages in the tower vendors such as Shaxx or Zavala.
Oh, okay.
So a number of places to get it. So yeah, it's in the world loot pool. It's there for you.
And it's doing high amounts of damage, so check that out.
Mm.
Fatebringer Final Form. Cool guy this week has done his favourite build that can do everything with Firefly. So this is, again, the hand cannon that you can get from the raid. So if you haven't got this, maybe it'll give you a reason to go and try and see if you can get a good roll on this. But he's put a really good guide for why you might want to use this, again, in PvE content and using war mine cells and putting together a really good build. Again, very similar to the energy accelerant and the sunshot. This is kind of using the Fatebringer, so you're not having to use an exotic in that slot. You can use this and then pick something else for your exotic, which is what kind of Cool Guy points out in his video. So I thought I'd kind of point people in the direction of that, because I think a lot of people were saying that the Fatebringer it's good, and there are certain situations that it's good in PvP, but if it's top tier PvP, it's not kind of one of the weapons that you'll kind of be looking to use. So it's more of a PvE weapon, which kind of makes sense because you get it from a PvE content activity, to be fair. So, yeah.
Yep.
iFrostbolt has got another video using a trace rifle. So this is the Prometheus lens, and using, again, the Path of the Burning Steps for the Titans, and why you might want to kind of use this. Have you stepped into momentum control this week, Peroty?
I have a little bit, just to get my weekly challenge done for killing either 50 or 75 guardians, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Stepped in long enough to do that and get my 3 weeklies done for Crucible.
So you saw the laser tag that's going on in there?
Actually, I didn't. I didn't see a lot of laser tag. Again, I wasn't in very long.
Oh. I've played quite a bit of it this week, and it was quite funny to see that it is just like Prometheus lens or Wave Splitter. Those two seem to be the ones people have forgotten about. What's the frozen one? The Cold
Hearts.
Cold Heart, that's it. And sometimes I've seen Ruinous Effigy. I've been killed by it, and then when I respawned, I got dunked by the same guy. I was like, brilliant, that's amazing. So yeah, it's just been laser tag in there because they do a wicked amount of damage, and now with the ammo economy and the perks of the mods that you can now get from just playing the game to drop and then being able to put those on your armor, I think we pointed out a couple of weeks ago, it's been really fun to see this weapon archetype come back up into the meta. And it was quite useful a couple of weeks ago. I think I used it in the first Iron Banner with the Wave Splitter and a couple of builds then. But I can see that the Prometheus lens with the Path of the Burning Steps, where you're kind of getting 2 or 3 kills with this, and with the Prometheus lens, exotic perk on it is that it reloads after it gets a kill. So it's really good that you can just hold that button down with the amount of ammo that you can now collect in Crucible and just delete people as they're kind of charging at you. So this was quite fun to see in momentum control this week.
Yeah, that's awesome. They've always been real good at PvP. They've always been strong in PvP, but you just ran out of ammo so It was like, I can delete you, but then I got nothing left.
Yeah, I've got nothing left after that. It was like 50 ammo, and then that was it. It was gone. And then if you picked up a brick, it barely gave you, I think it was 25 ammo. Now, I think if you've got one mod on, it'll give you something in the realm of like 73 ammo, which is a lot better than what it was. And then if you have another mod on, it gives you up to like 123. So if you've got you're running double mods to to pick up bricks, then you're laughing, to be honest.
Nice.
Another thing, as Peroty was saying, don't forget that each week these challenges come up that require you to go into certain activities. So I think for the last couple of weeks there was Mayhem. You had to complete Mayhem and get kills in Mayhem. I think it was like 50 kills in Mayhem. Then it was playing Iron Banner and get kills in Iron Banner. This week it was playing Momentum Control. I think it was 75 kills in Momentum Control, something like that.
Yeah.
So
it was
don't forget
24
these come up
for-
for your weekly challenges as well.
Yeah. It's just, go in, play the activity, and get rewarded for it.
Because you don't want to if you're trying to complete those, just be aware that these only rotate in about, like with Iron Banner, you'll only get like about 4 Iron Banners in a season, and more or less you'll probably get the same with Mayhem and Momentum Control, because where they're trying to balance it out with putting all the other different game modes in. So when these do come up, try and get them done those weeks, because you may not get another opportunity. Cheese Forever has got quite a few cool videos this week. First one is the jumping puzzle skip in Solo Flawless Expunged. So this is completing the Expunge mission in under 10 minutes with basically flying as a Titan using the Lion Rampants exotic boots that you can kind of drift, putting on high mobility and a sword to kind of sword fly across that whole arena, so you don't have to go and kill any enemies, you don't have to push any buttons, you don't have to go near any gravity cannons until you get to the final boss. As I said earlier, and just be careful with those things because they kill you instantly.
Guardian down.
But you can literally fly from, once you get through that first initial part, down to the area that you kind of have to go down and kill all the enemies. So just be careful of that deletion wall in that initial area. Once you kind of get out of there, you can literally fly across to the enemy platform. And I think I did it literally 2 or 3 minutes. But I've kind of unlocked my Splicer Gauntlet to the point where I've they kind of give me shortcuts to get through that initial area and the cannons to fire you across the different platforms. But you can literally fly to that end platform, which I found quite nice. Then there was a little funny video that he put together with the most wholesome boots in Destiny. I'll leave you to check that out. It's only a minute long, so Deacon will be happy with that. It'll keep her entertained for a minute. There were also a couple of other glitches that Bungie aren't aware of, or maybe they are aware of, but they just probably don't want you to know about. There's a no teleport on Antheon and no blind debuff second finisher glitch that Cheese goes over for if you're at the Antheon encounter.
Antheon!
And you don't like being teleported, there are ways to get around being teleported into either portal. So have a look at that if you want to try that out. Although it seems more fuss than it does just to learn the encounter. But hey ho, people do whatever they want to do. Cheese has also got another cool video, 1 minute 25, Deacon, that shows you that you can get random rolled weapons from the kiosk. And these are some of the legendary ones that you can reacquire, like the Frederick's Broadsword, the Night Watch, I believe, which is the pulse rifle. But he goes over, there are scout rifle, pulse rifles, whatever's in there. But he goes over the rhyme and reason why sometimes you can reacquire these and some of them you can't. But each week with the vendor refresh, these ones in the kiosk actually refresh the rolls on them. So that's worth a quick check out. He also has a more ammo from rewind round. Oh god, no. More ammo from rewind rounds. So this is the new perk that you can get from the Vault of Glass weapons. And he shows you a couple of cool tips of doing like the amount of kills that you kind of need or the amount of hits that you need to do before it kind of procs. And you can generate more ammo to come back to the gun so that you don't have to reload as much. So that was worth a watch. So the first video that I highlighted for Cheese Forever, that was for the Flawless Labyrinth mission for the Expunged. And Esoteric this week has done a solo Flawless Expunge Sticks time trial in 4 minutes with relic barrier skips. So I think this is unlocking your spot splice a gauntlet to the point where you can actually walk through the laser beams. He does it in 4 minutes. I think any kind of regular garden can probably do it, I'd say, in about 8 minutes, but it then counts towards the time trial for doing these expunge missions, because I think there's a lot of trials for that. So check that video out if you want to see how that's done. Errrh has got a couple of cool videos this week. The Heathen's Vengeance role that changes everything. Now, this is versus other rocket launchers, but there is a DPS trick that you can do with this weapon, and I think I put the second video. Yep, I put the second video with that. So there's one video that he goes over that shows you why this weapon is dealing more damage, or you can put out more damage at a quicker rate than some of the other rocket launchers. But he then went on further and put another video out basically saying that you can have tripod. Now, this is a perk from Destiny 1 where you could get 3 rockets in the magazine. There's a certain trick to getting this to proc on the weapon, but I think it's quite easy to do on a hunter, and the hunter dodge when you reload. And I can't remember the name of the perk. Let me just check it now. So this is using the perk Overflow, which is picking up a special heavy ammo reloads this weapon to beyond normal capacity. And what it does on the Heathen's Vengeance, which is the rocket launcher from the Vault of Glass raid, is that it will put 2 rockets in the magazine. So this is how people are able to put out more damage than like a single shot rocket launcher. But there is a trick to getting this to reload to have 3 rockets in the barrel, so you can literally just fire off all 3. So Errrh's got a really cool video, or 2 videos on, why it's a really good DPS, and then how to get this kind of tripod with the 3 rockets in the magazine working. He then goes over, he's got another video that goes over the plug 1 is literally null composure, but arc. And is it worth the grind to go and bang your head against the wall in the Nightfalls to get this weapon where you can get the pinnacle reward this season, which is the null composure fusion rifle, and what they kind of do, the similarities and what they can kind of roll with, and is it worth your time? So that was worth a watch. A really interesting video that I saw last week, which I'll put in this week, which was from Cammy Cakes Gaming. Now, this was going over some of the Vault of Glass weapons, like the Fatebringer, the Mythoclast, and why not every weapon is OP. And I think it was quite a good critical look at the nostalgia for these weapons and why you shouldn't believe the hype on some of the YouTube videos, which technically I don't, but when you see somebody wielding it really well, again, it's down to kind of the wielder normally, and I know they're saying like the god rolls and things, but he had a really good take on not all the weapons that they're bringing back are good. So I thought that was quite an interesting take on it. So I thought I'd kind of point people in the direction of that if they've got a spare 8 minutes, Deacon, to go and watch that. Our friend of the show, Froggy618157725, has a video on Out of Bounds again and how to get to the top of the rockets in the steps on the Cosmodrome, or steeps. Is it steeps or steps? I can't remember which one it is, but it's there. You can't stand on the rockets. You kind of just fall through them, but you can sparrow fly over to them and have a look at some of the lovely scenery. And some of the ways that they kind of, I love the way that they kind of break out of a nightfall to create a spawn point as a location for when you want to kind of go to something else and do something else and get to the out of bounds, which is quite interesting how they do it. I mean, I haven't got the time or the effort to do it myself, but it's just interesting to see what these guys can accomplish from breaking out of the map and seeing where they can get to. Crazy Mr. Pips this week has done a few guides for beginners. So if you're new to Destiny or getting into Destiny or getting somebody like Deacon interested in Destiny, these videos might be worth kind of pointing them in the direction of. So he's got a couple of beginners guides for things that you must know, and I'll link the one that's the first exotic every new player should get. It's quite an interesting take on what weapon it is, but I'll let you guys see. It's only a 3-minute video, so Deacon, you'll be happy.
Deacon approved. I was gonna
Deacon
ask
approved, yes.
if it's a new player guide. Yeah, I wasn't sure that would be Deacon.
No.
Deacon time limits.
He's got like 3 or 4 different beginners guides and tips of what to kind of do as a new player, but they are kind of short videos, so they're worth a quick watch.
Oh, that's really nice because a lot of the I saw he'd done player guides. And I feel like every time we see one, it's like new player guide, 16 hours long. It's like no, this is not what we need for new players. So it's nice to see shorter, bite size. Like give me little bits and pieces. Don't make me sit down for 20 minutes or 45 minutes and watch a whole. That's nice.
Real time update from our friend of the show, Cheese Forever. So I asked our friend Cheese, does the colony still kill the Minotaurs in Gatekeeper Encounter after the patch of the Prometheus lens? He says, nah, you can still freeze or blind or push them off. So real-time update from Cheese Forever there.
There we go. So yeah, whoever I saw mention that in the frozen Discord was correct that it was no longer working. Forgive me, I don't remember who it was. Or if their name is even their name. Everyone keeps changing the names and I'm old and
But that's interesting that you can still freeze or blind or push them off. Shoulder charge them off the edge of the map. That's the new OP method.
Over here.
Yeah. Okay, so Drewski has got a cool gunslinger build to rival Stasis. This, I think, is using the Arthur's Embrace and the bottom tree on the gunslinger for the hunters. That was worth a watch. I thought he was putting some real good work for that. Go and check that out. JB3 has a 27-second video. So again, Deacon approved on dragons flying over the vault of glass. That was interesting.
Interesting.
There is another limited time emblem that you can get, the Electromagnum and Spectral Sea. And T Glizzy has got a 3-minute and 29-second video on how to get those. As I spoke about earlier, there are a couple of new VOG metas. With fusion rifles are the new easy one phase on some of the bosses, and Scrub has a video for you for that. Another Cheese Forever video that kind of popped up this morning or last night when I was kind of finishing off my videos for you guys. Firefly and rewind rounds stacks, so you never have to reload. And Cheese has got a cool 1-minute and 20-second video on how this works. So check that out.
It breaks my immersion. I hate reloading. It sounds perfect.
He's also got one other video that came out. Behemoth flying again. Behemoth, Deacon. Behemoth. So again, after the patch, you can still do a lot of flying with your Behemoth Titans. If you wanted to check that out, that's a minute video. Lucky Tempe has another cool video that has been discovered in I think it was discovered on Reddit and posted a short clip of getting through the Gorgon maze in the Vault of Glass. Now, this is called the Chad strategy. It's ridiculous. It really, literally is ridiculous. You can run along, there's a certain path that you can run along, and you can hit a Gorgon as you walk past, and they will not do anything. They're literally, all 6 of them are running past this Gorgon and tapping it on its ass as you're running past. And he sees this in this video that he's watched. He's going, no, they must have glitched. There's no way that they could do that. And then he takes his team through and does exactly the same thing. And literally, they ran past these 2 or 3 Gorgons and nothing happens whatsoever. So I don't know whether it's a bug with the game that you can literally hug this wall and nothing happens. But I thought it was quite interesting to see and post.
Oh, that's so funny.
And then finally, Crazy Mr. Pips has a cool, awesome synergy video for the hunters again. This is using the Arthur's Embrace and the Wave Splitter. And I wasn't going to put it in because it's just another one of these ones of Wave Splitters and Prometheus lens builds, until I saw him kind of get a few kills and then throw that throwing knife with the Arthur's Embrace. Now, with that exotic, it's the one where you can it gives you better precision damage on, or it gives you better accuracy on knife throws. So this is the bottom tree gunslinger build. So you can throw the weighted knife, and I think it bounces off walls and floors. And I saw him kind of throw this knife, and it didn't go anywhere near the guy, but it literally got him the kill because he'd already got a kill beforehand. And it gives you a 25-second timer to then get a kill with the knife. So I think it's a really cool PvP build. So I thought I'd kind of include that as a thing.
Nice.
So is there anything that you've kind of come across this week that you'd like to highlight for people?
Yeah, there were a couple things you've already mentioned that I didn't throw in the notes there, but I did see that apparently Irvin on YouTube has apparently I'll link to the YouTube and also the Reddit post I saw about since the release of Expunge Labyrinth, we see countless clips of Titans and Warlocks flying their way through the mission with Icarus dashes, with lion ramparts and swords. After 15 hours and over 400 deaths, I present to you Expunge Labyrinth in 3 minutes and 26 seconds on a hunter. And we'll link to the YouTube where he goes through 3 minutes and 26 seconds on a hunter flying his way through the Expunge mission, which basically involves using a combination of the Shatter Dive and the the sword that you shoot things at range that I now can't find the name of.
Is
World
it
Line
Solar
Zero.
Star? Okay.
Yeah,
You could do fine with that. Yeah, couldn't
yeah. So it's like the World Line Zero plus the Shatter Dive and the Glacial Wall, and it's this ridiculous, like, you basically, like rocket jump your way through the world, except you're shatter diving onto the World Line Zero, it's wild. Just watch it. It's really a work of art. And he has a whole bunch of notes saying, this didn't really take, this didn't take him, full 15 hours to do. It was a, sort of, once I figured out the best sort of path through, it was only 4 or 5 more hours to hone it down into 3.5 minutes of getting through this. But it is just a sight to behold and I just appreciate anyone with that level of ingenuity, time, relentlessness, something to make that happen.
Yeah.
And then I watched Ristophilis put a video out on the Gamma Guide, Best Reaper plus Team Guide, Increase Wins, more Destiny 2. Which it was sort of, I don't know if he's been doing this a lot with his more recent stuff, but it's like you can listen to the video and you can watch the video and get 2 totally different sets of information, because he'll put text over the video of like additional things as he's talking about one thing. And so this is one build that I was playing around with a little bit this week. Finally, got unlazy. What are we, 16 years into Destiny, and going, I should actually try one of these out, because it uses either mid tree Titan or top tree Warlock, basically for void builds. Your armor, you're going to want a recovery of at least 8, intellect of 3, and some discipline. How much is whatever you can get in there. It uses a series of Warmind cells, so Warmind protection to reduce your damage when you're standing near a cell. Warmind Decree to generate cell on void splash damage that's new this season, and Rage of the Warmind to cause solar damage on Warmind explosion. You're also going to want to throw on a Well of Life mod, Recuperation mod, 2 concussion dampener mods, and then the loadout for this is you're going to want, for your energy weapon, Telesto, because it's the besto when it breaks all the things. It gives you beautiful void splash damage. Your heavy, you can go with either, he recommends Falling Geese, Surrounded and Tireless, or a machine gun like the Shattered Cipher, basically something with an unrelenting and auto perk. And then for your primary, what we're looking for is Unrelenting, which gives you life back on rapid kills. He recommends the multi-mock from the Iron Banner or the Friction Fire. And I actually have been playing with this because usually when I see these videos, it's like, oh, you need this, and you need all of this nonsense that I have and probably deleted because I don't keep it all. I actually had a multi-mock with Unrelenting. I had a machine gun with Unrelenting on it. And of course, I have a Telesto, because who can take the Telesto off? And so I've been playing Gambit with the multi-mock CCX. I have a roll with Subsistence, which gives me the partial reloads on kills, and Unrelenting on it, Flared Magwell, and I think IS2 Classic Sight. That I masterworked because why not? It has been stupidly fun. Basically, with this build, you're running around, shooting things, you're creating splash damage, you're making Warmind cells, you're standing near the Warmind cells for protection, you're blowing them up for more damage, you're making more Warmind cells with the Telesto. Because you're running the Telesto in the Void subclass, it also destroys Primevals, or the Primeval Wizards. It destroys anything with the Void Shield. It's just, you're just a reaping machine. I still can't pick up motes as a Titan because our hands are too big or they fall through the map. But just the number of kills I'm able to generate is great. So I've been having a lot of fun with that build this week, and we'll put the video in the show, link in the show notes with all the other videos. Cause it's just been way too much fun, because I've been playing lots of Gambit because for some reason I feel the need to gild that title again. So that's what I'm working on. I also want to throw in a quick video. Have you seen the Insurrection Prime dancing? Because, my friends, you have not lived
Yes.
until you've seen the beautiful, fully rendered by the Tigalomaniac on Twitter, Insurrection Prime dancing. It's 18 seconds. It's Deacon approved. It's marvelous. I love it. And I also just wanted to say, if I watched the Saint bedtime story cutscene in the game for once, and actually had the sound up, which is sort of a rarity for me these days. But I appreciate the Destiny 2 the game on Twitter also posted the full 2-minute 12-second the Saint a bedtime story. Maybe don't watch it right before you go to bed, because it might not give you the sweetest of dreams. But one, I absolutely love the art style the cutscenes are doing, and two, I appreciate they put this out in a way that was outside of the game, where I wouldn't have to go from someone else. They put it out sort of officially, and I just love the art style, and I love the story, and I love Stage 14. So how could I not watch? And I think that's all else I watched this week that you hadn't covered.
2 podcasts I want to kind of point you guys in the direction of. If you haven't heard them this week or haven't heard of them, the Destiny community podcast, Firing Range. Now, this is Fallout Plays, Cami Cakes, Drewski, all those guys that you see the videos from. Cool Guy. They kind of do the Firing Range podcast, which is an offshoot of the Destiny community podcast. Now, the only confusing thing about the Destiny community podcast is that they do the DCP podcast every week. Then they have a retro gaming part of that podcast. So if you subscribe, you kind of get that, as well as there's another one that they kind of do, like talking about something else. And they also do Firing Range, which is these guys that put out the YouTube videos like Fallout. And I think that's every 2 weeks that they kind of get together and talk about metas and weapons and perks and cones and things like that. Now, this past one, they had 2 guys from Bungie on. The 2 guys that have kind of been talking recently in the TWABs about the different changes to stasis and the weapons and the sandbox. Kevin Yanis and Chris Proctor. So they had those 2 guys on this week. It's Firing Range number 28. And literally, they go into what they could do in detail of different things. And I'll give you a kind of quick overview, because I don't want to kind of spoil it for anybody. So they go into the design philosophy of stasis. They don't comment on the future of any more dark subclasses. There's kind of a mum's the word on that. We can't really say anything. They wanted to let people know that they are playing the game, quite anonymously. They'll kind of go off and play trials to see what the cheaters are doing. They'll play in Nightfalls to see how much you can kind of damage these bosses. They're playing raids. So they are seeing firsthand what kind of stasis has been doing, what the cheaters are doing. So they are kind of trying to get as much information as they can firsthand. The question was posed to them, where is Rift? They want to let people know that the Dead Man's Tau, the exotic scout rifle that you can kind of get from the Glycon mission, is looking at being potentially pulled back later this season. And they did say this season, because they are aware that it is one of those ones that is quite high up there in being used. I'm not sure whether that's more on PC or on console. I mean, I see it now and then. I didn't see it that much in Momentum Control, although I did hear it quite a bit. You could hear that bang, bang, bang reload action. They're looking at the special ammo economy being touched coming up, because they're quite aware that they still want people to use energy weapons, but they don't want it kind of as much as what it is at the moment to kind of crutch on, whereas you can kind of literally run around and there are green bricks everywhere kind of thing. Most weapons or weapon types being in certain places, they talk about that and what they're happy with, what they're not happy with. They talk about no distractions. Now, this is quite interesting. The no distractions perk actually stacks with other unflinching mods. So the no distractions perk on the weapons gives you a base of 35% of unflinching. And this can actually stack with unflinching mods. And if you put 2 unflinching mods on your armor piece, it will give you what the no distractions gives you, which is 35%. So potentially, I'm not sure if the kind of the numbers work out. I'm guessing Fallout or Crawl Guy or somebody will do a video on this now they know the numbers of how much reduction it does give you. So that's quite interesting. Something else that I found quite interesting is that they were talking about the Vex Mytha class. They were saying that it's not landing as strong as they wanted to. So when they kind of first envisioned this kind of coming back, I think they wanted to see, what it was like, and it may be something that they touch next season, so not this season, but in the follow up. So it may be getting a slight buff, which is quite nice because as we've seen with Destiny Fun Police, there are some really cool builds that you can put together for the Titans with the Path of the Burning Steps, where you can get the stacks, and if you've got the catalyst, it kind of unlocks a lot more potential. So it getting a buff is quite good news. And they wanted to kind of just make people aware that they are looking at the quick swap glitch. Now, this is the one with the shotguns that people are using mainly like in like Deepstone Crypt to rock the slug shotguns to do more damage to the bosses and things. It is being looked at. And I have seen a couple of arguments of why it shouldn't be looked at, because it's something that's in every first person shooter game that you can kind of cancel the animation to quickly get out another weapon. And it is higher skilled players that can kind of do this. Regular players can't do it as well. It is a skill to actually learn. I think Mercules was talking about this, that it's something that it's in the game. So why take it out of the game if it isn't actually hurting anybody? I can see like in trials with people hot swapping to different weapons, that's maybe where they're looking at it from, not potentially a PvE aspect, but they kind of did say that they'd be looking at that going further. So that was quite interesting to go and listen to. It's about 3 hours long, and what was quite nice is they actually give, I think it was Chris Proctor is actually giving numbers to Fallout. Fallout was asking him, what are the cones or the damage fall off for this or that. So all the numbers that have kind of been guessed at, for the last God knows how many years. I think the last time that the kind of community was actually given any numbers was from the Crucible. I think it was Crucible Radio. I can't remember. It was Birds, Bones and Swain that did. I think it was Crucible Radio that actually had two of the Sandbox guys on there when they were doing the Sandbox, and they actually gave them numbers at that time. So this is the first time, apart from in the TWAB where we've seen numbers, that Fallout was kind of in joyous praise of the fact that you managed to get these guys and pin them down to some numbers. And I didn't really understand a lot of what they were saying, but it sounded like Fallout did, which is good because that means that there'll be videos coming later on that will explain it in layman's terms for me, and for me to then put it into practice, which would be nice. So if you're into all that, it's a really cool 3-hour podcast of that. So it's definitely Deacon not approved. So yeah, and the final one is the Fireteam chat. It was their final weekly show that they're doing for the Destiny 2 or Destiny in overall. So Destiny is actually kind of giving up on the weekly format, and they had a big last hurrah for their 300th episode this week, just gone. A couple of returning guests like Fran Mirabella, who was on it from like way back when. And as Destin says, it's been 7 years of his life doing this podcast along with the game. They will kind of continue to do one-off episodes when there is a big DLC coming or there's a big info dump. So the guys will kind of still get back together, but it's not going to be a weekly thing. So I felt a bit sad for that. And I know they announced it last week and Deacon highlighted it in the show notes, but I just thought I'd kind of point people in the direction of their last like weekly one. So it's a bit sad to see them kind of bow out as, some of the other Destiny podcasts that have followed for all these years. The Crucible Radio, Guardian Radio,
Other radios.
Yeah, there was, it's Destiny Reset, Destiny the Game. It's just really sad when the content creators that you kind of listen to, kind of just say we've had enough. So it was a bit tearful.
Yeah, that's always the moment you start something there's always gonna come a day where it will end.
Don't you say that now. No, don't you say that.
Well, no, just to say, we do promise we've promised you another 123 episodes because that's when the glorious return of Deacon happens. So we're not going anywhere. We're going to continue to be here. What I was going to say is, if you do find that there's some sort of like Destiny-sized hole in your heart in your podcast feed, there is a wonderful place other than Two Titans and a Hunter, which really is the show you need. There is another place you can go, which is destinypodcast.com. That's podcasts, plural.com. And there is a list of many, many fine shows. The list that Kingsley Mack from the Guardian Hub has put together. And if you do have a Destiny show, reach out to him and he will get it added to the list. There is a wonderful list of our very rapidly growing Destiny podcast family, mob, gang. It's hard to say what it is.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for lore, if you're looking for takes on Destiny, everybody comes to Destiny from their own special secret sauce kind of way. So if you find yourself that you just need more Destiny, destinypodcast.com. There's a wonderful list there. We're on it along with our friends at Guardian. But if you're just like, I need more, there is more to have.
And did you say you were gonna do the Reddit thing?
Yeah, I did see. Yeah, in D2 Clans, I saw you had flagged this. So there's someone where if you're on Stadia, my clan is called New Age Vamps, VAMPS, like vampires. They have a clan of Stadia players, but the goal is to have every platform so we can all play. Crossplay officially launches. They grind out the game and it has no one to do raids with. So we're hoping to find more players who can raid together and hang out and play. And so they are New Age Vamps, VAMPS on Bungie. So yeah, if you're on Stadia or just looking for people to play with and dot testing with, that you can get that sweet clan loot and go rage with, check out New Age Vamps. And that, I think, brings us to the end of our show.
Definitely not Deacon approved then this week. Over 3 hours long here.
Oh no,
For us
certainly
to
not.
sit and chat anyway, but maybe not the podcast when it comes out the other end.
Yeah, podcast could be like a sweet 15 minutes, and that's it. It's hard to say. You never know what you're going to get from the live show to the unlive show. There's no respawn live stream, so no one will even know what happened after he left. Could be anything. It could be the point where I have to say thank you for joining us. Your Titans are Peroty and Nitedemon. Your Hunters don't want to respawn in real life. Your Lore Scribe, coming to us mobily, is not ARF. You can email the show at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com. Find the show on Twitter at twotitans_hunter. Or on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube at twotitansandahunter. You can find all your favorite Guardians on Xbox Live, Respawn on PC, and also on Guardian Downcast episode 97. He's kind of a big deal. You can listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and everywhere friends that find podcasts are sold. Watch the show on YouTube. Look at Nitedemon's glorious Volta Glass completions to prove Respawn wrong. And remember, if we wish to survive, we must all learn to live alongside our mom. Until next week, friends, say goodbye, Nitedemon.
Goodbye, Nitedemon.
Antheon.